We're live. Welcome back to Travel Snacks and
Timothy Ward.
well, that was a fun live stream. I'll talk to you later.
See y'all later. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, I want to apologize if I'm a little sluggish. Travel Snacks, some of y'all remember, lost the Super Bowl bet.
Wow, just starting out with that, huh?
She lost the Super Bowl bet, so she just had to buy me Carrabba's. And your boy ate good. I ate very well, had the lasagna. So if I'm a little sluggish, blame her for betting on the Eagles. How y'all doing this evening?
He was actually kind of a cheap date. I was actually like surprised. I was ready to spend more money, but I honor my debts and I paid it.
You did.
So
You did.
that's it. How's everybody doing tonight? Let me put on my glasses so I can see. Woohoo! I'm actually going to be able to watch it live. All right, Kim, welcome. Overland code. Time to get this party started. I am getting lonely. And Grant's in the house. Hey, Snack Pack. Grant is my moderator and always does such a great job. So if you have any questions that I missed, Grant could probably answer them. And if you get a little crazy, he'll put you in timeout or ban you.
Same is true for Angela. Shout out to Angela.
Angela.
I see you
Yes.
already here.
Mhm.
Okay,
Awesome.
cool.
Let's go. Alma's in the house. Oh, Montana. Kim's from Montana. Awesome.
So you want to jump into the topic?
Bam. Jump on in.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So the title, the topic tonight is going to be loneliness. And me and Allison were brainstorming earlier, and we've actually talked about this a lot. And so we were like, yeah, this would be a good topic. I was doing some research. Some of y'all know for actually like a video on this topic. Never got around to doing it. Sorry. But I realized that came across a lot of blogs and articles and videos that like 2019 pre-pandemic, there was a lot of research going on about us being in like a loneliness epidemic. Like people have never been lonelier. And there was like documentaries, all types of research about it. And then like the pandemic came and they kind of had to hush it all up because they couldn't be like, well, how do we combat loneliness? But y'all need to stay home. You know what I mean? So like they haven't really brought it back up yet, but nothing has changed. Like I know just from talking with people on YouTube and just people, in real life, that everybody is just dealing with like this loneliness, which is ironic because we live in a world that's never been so connected. So we kind of just want to have this topic and discuss like, why are we so lonely? Is it fixable? Like what's going on?
Yeah. And Tim's leaving tomorrow, so I'm going to be pretty lonely. It's sad. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier is like, we've had all this great time, like hanging out as friends. And then it's going to be like back to our, regular daily lives and not having somebody to hang out with and have coffee or dinner or something like that. And I was just thinking like, I woke up or went to bed feeling like kind of sad, and kind of introspective, like, oh, it's been so nice to have a friend. And like, when I'm in my van, it's like I have friends, I call people and I talk and stuff, but it's not the same as like being able to just go, hang out with somebody. So, that's kind of why loneliness was brought up today as well. So it's a deep topic. Oh,
hey Xavier, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Xavier said round 2. Yeah, we're back. We're back. By the way, I want to address that real quick. Thank y'all for the love we got on the last live stream.
Yes, indeed.
So we decided to do it again. Appreciate the love.
Thank you.
Because yeah, like Allison said, I'm heading back home soon. So this will be one of our last times to do this. So figured we'd do it again and have a serious topic that could bring a lot of people value. So I want to ask you.
Okay.
I want to ask you. Why, if I have my phone, everyone else has their phone, there's a million apps for dating, for meeting people, anybody I know, everybody I know is within like a phone call or a text message or a snap or whatever length, why the loneliness? You know what I mean? Like if we're so connected, I can literally contact 100 people right now if I wanted to. Why do you think everyone's so lonely?
I personally think that we are connected digitally, but we're not connected in real life. And I think that people need in-person connections. But I think that, this could be a conspiracy. So I don't know. I don't know because if you notice maybe like, I don't know if it was before or after the pandemic, but at some point the word introvert started being thrown out there a lot more. You
Sure.
started seeing more memes, you started seeing more videos, you started seeing TikToks, you started seeing people claim like whole Instagram channels about being an introvert. People like, oh, I'm an introvert. Seems like every single person in the world is now identifying as an introvert.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, I feel like I'm a natural introvert. I'm more of a person that likes one-on-one company. Like I like to be alone, but I also like to spend quality time with individual friends, not so much groups. So I really don't identify as an extrovert. But I think what's happened is we're all like, oh, I'm an introvert, so I'm going to just stay away from people. And it's a terrible idea. Like even if you are more comfortable being alone, I think we need to push ourselves to get around people sometimes.
Okay.
Even if it's just one or two, because I think it's a lie to say that, you could be alone and you're happy. Like, I don't think no one's claiming that they're like the most happy alone all the time, because you see so much more anxiety and depression, and people are like, oh, I'm so depressed, but I don't want to be around people because people suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we've lost the art of communicating, like when people would get together before and they didn't agree, they'd still chop it up and they'd be like, oh, I don't agree with you, but that's cool. And they'd still like hang out. But now people have isolated themselves to like a point where it's like everyone's just alone and miserable and can't get past like getting together with other people. What do you think?
I agree. And I was thinking too, like a lot of times now we feel like a text, whereas before we would have to actually like see each other maybe.
Yeah.
Or we might call someone on the phone and talk for 30 minutes or let's go grab coffee. Now we feel like a text or like a DM serves the same purpose or has the same weight. So I think even with the people we know, like we're not interacting like we used to. Yeah. It's like, oh, I talked to Bob because I sent him that text. I'm good. And it's like we're missing something with that impersonal like relationship conversation. But I feel like, especially like the kids coming up who've always had their phone, like the art of conversation, real life is they never, like, we got it, we just don't use it.
Yeah,
they don't even have it. Like, especially to them, they're like, yeah, I just message my friends. Like, why would I go see? You know what I mean? I see them at school. That's it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I feel like the world is just kind of shifted. Not demonizing social media.
No,
because it's like any tool. I think we took it and are using it to our detriment almost. Like instead of using it for the good, we've allowed it because it's so much easier to replace like hanging out and contact. Like you can't hug somebody through the phone. Like you need a fist bump, you need to hug, you need to whatever. And like I think that's a big part of it too. Now I just thought about that. Like I feel like we don't get that energy no more. Like we just kind of do it on the phone and call it a day, a week, a month, whatever.
Yeah. Or like, that was also a thing that started to come out in social media is like, if you can text it to me, don't call me. Like, don't call me, don't call me, don't call me. People are like, I don't want to have interactions. But then those same people are like, oh, I'm so depressed. I don't know why I'm depressed. It's like, you have to have people. You don't have to have people all the time. But I think we're not created to be isolated for that long of a time period. Like they even done studies with babies, like babies that weren't held or touched a lot, like in terms of like, being cuddled or just like being taken care of, and ones that were. And it was like really obvious in the study that it like made like a deficit in that child's life, you know, and it's not good. Like we do need to be able to like be in person and breathe the same air and stuff like that. So
I already can see the response because everybody is doing that now. Mm-hmm. So what if, someone like us who's thought about this, or someone else, in the chat's like, yeah, I agree. But if everybody else is doing that, like how do you as the enlightened person, fix that? If everybody just wants to be on their devices, don't call me, text me, well, then I'm still jammed up because I ain't got nobody to go talk to in person.
Yeah.
So like, I'd imagine, a lot of people are like, yeah, I get that's the point, but like, what's the fix?
I think the fix is dipping your toe back into the water and being like, you know what, let me just start by making like a coffee time with a friend. Even if it's once a month, like you can go slow. You don't have to be around somebody all the time because, as introverts, you want to have your own time and you want to like, a lot of people feel fine when they're alone, as I do too.
Yeah.
But there's a big lack if it goes on for too long. I just feel like very like, oh my gosh, this feels bad, So I think it's just Dana coming through with the $1.99. We're even now.
You see the competitive? Oh, here we go. Here we go. The sound effects.
Here comes the sound effects because you're right. Listen, this is how I roll. Thank you, Dana, so much. That's a cute little, what is that? GLHF.
What is that?
I don't know. It's GLHF.
Good life. No, that's
good luck.
Finding.
Have fun. Good luck. Have fun.
Good luck. Whole face. No,
I'm past that. I'm past it.
Oh, Valley Girl, I see you.
I see you.
Thank you, Valley Girl. Super Chat Squad. That is love.
Awesome. That's
Thank you
awesome.
so much. Said the only time I'm around people is when I volunteer. We have a common goal. Oh, facts. And I think that's a good way to.
That's a good point.
To get around people is to finding people who also are doing something outwardly, and then that like common type of people. Because I think a lot of people like, I would meet more people, but like you said, people like I hate people. Every time I go around people, they annoy me. So getting around people, volunteering, that's awesome. Thank you, Valley Girl. Dodo coming through. Dodo, thank you, Super Chat Squad. That is love. Thank you. We got a Super Chat train going here. See what you started. Xavier said, got to my boy Tim back in the league.
Back in the league.
Thank you, Xavier.
Already won the badge for the Carabas.
You started it. You was like, see. Thank you, Xavier. I appreciate that.
What was I going to say? I was going to say about that is like, when you can be introverted, but if you keep telling yourself that everybody sucks in the world, that's not true. Like I don't know if it was a video I just did or if one I just filmed, but I was talking about like, I always thought like I could never have a roommate. I was like, I could never have a roommate. No, I would just, as an adult, I can't do that. But now staying here for a month with you, if it's the right person, then you can, or I can. And I think that's the same thing with friends, is if you constantly say you can't relate to anybody, you won't.
Yeah.
But if you put yourself out there, you might have a few duds. You might have people like, I don't like that person. They stress me out or whatever. But if you come across the right friend, it could be like life-changing. It could be like, wow, like I have somebody that I could relate to, that I could get off my feelings and like talk about it and like just really, expand your life. And I think if we don't try, that's what leads to like being so lonely, Yeah.
I gotta piggybacking off that. Someone asked earlier in the chat, how did we meet? Because like you said, we're spent the month here. It's been great. Even before this, like we'll call and talk on the phone like for hours. Just really blessed to have a friend like you in my life.
Thank you as well.
And like, thank you. And it honestly was like through YouTube. And so just being proactive, reaching out. Hey, Allison asked, she was in Denver. Hey, you want to hang out, grab a cup, whatever. I think we ended up going to like the park and just walking around. Like, So I think, sometimes it takes maybe putting yourself out there. If you see somebody you think might be like-minded, just instead of all of us just being behind our devices, being like, nah, people are weird. Sometimes we got to be a little proactive. But with that being said, you might only get one person out of 4. You know what I mean? Like the numbers could still be.
Yeah, like honestly, when I was headed, so that was what, last year?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So my thought was I was going to go to Idaho, stay there for like a month, and then head towards Colorado. So I wasn't even actually going there. But when I got there to Idaho, it started snowing. So I was like, okay, I need to do this opposite. I need to go to Colorado first and like whatever, change my whole route. And I was feeling like defeated a little bit, like, oh my gosh, like this plan isn't working. My travel plan isn't working. I don't know what to do. And I started to feel just like, lonely and lonesome and just like bummed out. And so I saw you on a podcast. And I was like, I saw that you said you were in Denver, and I was like, well, I'm headed there. I don't know this dude, but he's on YouTube, so I know his personality. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna reach out. We'll see, we'll see if, we can hang out. And it was easy. We did, and now we're friends. So you never know until you try.
Shout out to Tina the Outsider, because that was her podcast.
Yeah, Tina.
And it's crazy because something told me to do that podcast. Like she had reached out, and y'all know me, I'm not always good about stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know. And then something was like, hey, Tina seems genuine. She's legit, super cool. And I was like, something told me to do that podcast. And then like Allison had reached out. I was like, hey, I'm going to come through Denver. And I was like, wow. Like, so another thing about going with your gut, going with your intuition.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to, hey, first of all, Tammy, who's a blessing to this channel and to me, she sent $50 up in this piece. I got to give.
I feel like it don't count if it ain't on the screen.
Thank you, Tammy. Also, calm your jets down. Julie Hansen, 1999, up in this piece. Thanks for being you. Oh, that's super cute. Let's give you
3 sound effects.
Hey, I'm going on. I'm going crazy up here. Overland code, $5 with a cute little lemon head. Let's see. Let's give.
He shoots. He
And just, because Beach 704, also with the $1.99 in the house. Thank you. And I'm going to get back to some of these comments as well after Tim responds to whatever I just said. But thank you guys so much for the donations. That's truly appreciated. It's a blessing.
I was just going to say, I did sound effects last time, and then I tried it in one of my streams, and I got jumped on. So I don't do sound effects no more because people were just like, they didn't like. Some people liked them, some people didn't. So I think every now and then I might do them.
Okay.
But I'm not doing them. Yeah, I just got.
They weren't feeling it.
They wasn't feeling. People was not feeling it.
Wow.
Someone said I wasn't being authentic.
Oh. Well,
so
I've been doing mine from the beginning. So.
Yeah, they said I was stealing from you.
It's okay.
So I was like, we're friends. I can do that. But yeah, so I'm just gonna clap. I'm just gonna throw the hearts up. Love gang in the building. Yeah. You said you're gonna get some comments. I might scroll through and.
Yeah, let's scroll it back a little bit. And hi to everybody that came in and that's here. Thank you so much for being here. It's always nice to spend a nice little Friday night with our friends.
Nice.
Let's see. Reigns of Healing asks, Tim, where is home for you?
Currently, it's Denver, Colorado. But that's going to be a couple more months and that's over. So we'll see after that.
Libby says, lack of deep connections emotionally and in person. That's facts. I think that's why people are more lonely.
Min makes a good point. He said you only need a couple of good friends. I have one good friend that I meet up with regularly. Having a bunch of friends as an introvert is just exhausting. I agree. And
I can relate. And
I think if you could find a couple good friends and when you want to hang out, I got in Denver at home, I live with my roommate. So Cyan. So sometimes we'll hang out, we'll go to lunch or something like that. And then I got a really good friend, my friend Taylor, she lives in Denver too. So once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on if we're busy, I might message her. She might message me because she's introverted too, kind of. So she's like, hey, let's do lunch. I'm like, hey, let's do coffee. And that interaction once a month, maybe, or twice a month is enough a lot of times to get me through the whole month. Cause it's just those are people I care about and I got them. I don't need to be like I was in my 20s. When I was out all the time and always at the bar and at the club, it's there's a couple people that you can spend time with and get those thoughts off. I think that's one of the biggest issues with loneliness. We were talking about this earlier too.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed this month because there's just a lot of thoughts. Some of them YouTube, some of them other stuff that it's just me in my head mulling over. Blah, 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 blah. So it's it's good to just have somebody you can spit it out to. Blah. And even if they're just that makes no sense, that's crazy. At least you get some clarity. You know what I mean? Just to have someone to talk to say this stuff is I think a lot of, people may not even be looking for love or they might even not even need a up your butt friend, but sometimes you just need somebody you can trust.
I hope you're not being up someone's butt as a friend. That's a lot.
That's why I came here, but it didn't turn out.
Stream over.
Sorry. I apologize. That was me being silly. But sometimes you just need somebody to laugh and joke.
Well, I was like that earlier. We were talking and I was like, I have an idea, something for my channel, and I said it out loud, and then you're like, isn't that gonna be more work for you? Didn't you say you want to do less, less work? And I was like, yeah, you're right. But just saying it out loud to somebody, you can hear yourself. And if you just talk to yourself, sometimes it doesn't translate the same way. But if somebody's here to listen, it's a big deal.
It sounds like a great idea sometimes, just talking to yourself. You go, oh, I'm going to kill him with this.
Yeah.
And you tell
It's like,
somebody,
oh.
they're like,
That doesn't sound so good.
shout out to Rim Bells. Thank you. Super Chat Squad in the building. That is love. There's your heart. Thank you so much, Rim Bells.
Brains of Healing says we can all be social. However, introverts recharge their batteries by being alone, whereas extroverts get energy by being with lots of others. Yeah. I mean, definitely. I think that's one of the things is like if you hang out with somebody or like, especially in this situation, like we just go to our own separate rooms. Like we don't even have to have a long discussion about it. Like, hey, I'm going to go, go in my room. No one's mad. No one's upset. Cause like, I think we both realize you just need time to yourself, And if somebody is an introvert as well, they understand it. You don't have to like fight with that person. Like, oh, you want to hang out with me? Whatever. It's not that serious.
Yeah. Yesterday I was watching basketball. So I was watching, Athletes Unlimited. Lexi Hull was playing. So yeah, Allison walked in the room. She's like, "Oh, you watching basketball?"
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah. I'm like, hey.
Yeah. Dana says, I think COVID has a lot to do with us being alone. What do you think?
I think so too.
I think so too.
I feel like, like you can only get, they give us that messaging for a while there, stay away from people, be at home.
Yeah.
And I feel like we already, like I said, a lot of the stuff I watched was these documentaries, and you can Google loneliness epidemic. The stuff is out there. And like they literally called it an epidemic. There were some researchers that were like, it's worse than cancer, which I think they said that to grab headlines, but that just shows you they were saying so many people are affected by this. And like it was happening pre-pandemic. And then when you throw in year and a half or whatever of them saying stay away from people,
yeah,
you still got people who are scared to go out in public without all kinds of, so I think that made a big difference. It just compounded the loneliness that we were already seeing. And like, it's even harder now to get out there and meet people.
Gilberto HDJ KSA 52 says, I think good research for this can be watching the different generations, Gen X and Gen Z. As Gen Xers, we went outside. We had Nintendo, but we were not linked via internet. Long distance calls existed, but it was expensive. So that's a really good point. Like we had a different upbringing. We weren't constantly on our, like looking at a screen.
Yeah.
If it was TV. But I don't know. My parents were like, go outside,
yeah.
go ride a bike, go do whatever, get outside, get some fresh air. Now, I don't think hardly anybody sends their kids outside. I don't know of anybody that's like, you need to go outside and play. Play what? Like they wouldn't even know what to do.
I got a friend who does do that, and the kids are always griping because no other kids are outside.
Yeah.
So he'll like, go find some kids to play with in the neighborhood. And they look at him like he's like just the oldest boomer. They're like, nobody. They always will go around the block and they'll come back. And they're like, there's no kids to play outside with.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about, Dad?
Yeah.
So, and this is the thing too about the Nintendo. You had Nintendo, but your boy had to come through and play with you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now we're in our own little box and we just play other people. But yeah, back then, like you couldn't wait to go over your friend's house or she come over your house to play the games. Now you just play and interact with screen names.
Yeah. And you might have your headset, but you're just talking trash to each other. No one's really having any conversations. It's just a different world now. And I think the only way to get past it is to go out of your comfort zone, just like almost everything. Anything that like even traveling stuff, just everything that you do is going to be outside of your comfort zone. Making more money, out of your comfort zone. Getting in shape, out of your comfort zone. Like we've been kind of sold a lie of like comfort's the key, but comfort's the opposite of the key. Comfort is death, really, because it's going to keep you lonely, not in shape, broke. Comfort should be, not all the time.
Damn, that sounds horrible. He's like out of shape, lonely, bro.
Hey.
Damn.
Hey.
Real quick, I want to acknowledge this. Beach 704. Thank you. I appreciate you showing love on both screens.
Cross love.
This is off topic, so I'm just gonna say it real quick. What's your favorite Super Chat Squad? That's love. Thank you. So, what's your favorite thing about being sober? The clarity of mind. Appreciate the love.
Nice. Let's see. Let's see. Doofus Adventures. I consider myself an extroverted introvert. I like being around others, but relish my alone time. I like that too. I don't know we should have like a word that's like that, but mine's less extrovert and more introvert. But like I said, I don't really love being around a group of people.
Same.
Like I like to be with like one friend at a time so I can focus on what they're saying give my energy to that person. And then, when we've had a lot of time together or whatever, then we can go our separate ways and I can recharge my batteries. But being around 10 different people, like girls' weekends and stuff, I don't know, like I can do it occasionally, but I just don't really love that idea. Even like on my birthday, I usually spend it with 2 of my friends. And that's great. Like 1 or 2 people, that fills me up. But like a group of people, I don't know. Like I'm okay with a few times, but not all the time.
I'm saying like I'm very selective about who I hang out with. So like, if there's a big group of friends, there's gonna be 3 or 4 of them people I don't really want to be around.
Yeah.
So like the most I'll probably ever see me with is 2 or 3 people, and they'll be my really good friends.
Yeah.
Like, because so these days, like if somebody's not somebody I've identified I really want to be around, unless I'm just meeting them for the first time. But like if I know somebody and they're not somebody I really want to be around, I don't want them coming to tea, to coffee, or to lunch. Like, so I'm gonna be like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm with you. Like a couple people, 1 person, I'm great. Groups, and then you got people bringing up craziness and all like that. I'd rather just be in my own zone back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Carol was showing her age. She said, when I grew up, there was no such thing as a computer and a cell phone. We were outside all the time.
Hey.
Okay. Hey. Never. I feel like something is lost. I'm trying to imagine my childhood if I didn't go outside.
Stacy C wants to know what's Tim's channel.
Timothy Ward.
Bam. And Michael Internet Pro, did you have a crush on Tim in the beginning? Dun, dun, dun.
Who's this? So you're saying she had a crush and it went away now?
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Wow.
I'm like, and after being around them.
Wow. And I kept the bathroom clean and everything. There's 2 bathrooms, by the way.
2 bathrooms.
Calm down. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath.
Dun, dun, dun.
We did it big. Stainless steel fridge. We did it big.
Yeah. I didn't have a crush on Tim. It's funny because when you're on the internet, when you're a content creator, there's a lot of people coming at you through comments, DMs, emails. And so it's hard because you don't really get to see who those people are. But if you see another content creator, I can watch videos of that person and kind of get a feel for who they are. Like you can never know 100%, but I watched Tim's videos, before. And so I was like, he seems cool. He seems like on this same page. We're pretty calm people. So I didn't feel like nervous to reach out to him. And wasn't reaching out for like crush purposes. I was just like, he seems cool. Listen to that podcast. And I was like, I think it'd be great to have friends that also are content creators because it is a different world. Being a content creator, like it's just like any job. Like if you're an accountant or if you sell cars or whatever, and you have coworkers, you can talk about that kind of work, that line of work.
Yeah.
And the same thing when you do YouTube, it's like you want to be able to talk about it with somebody that really gets it. So I think that's why I reached out, was just like, I think it'd be great to have a friend that understands. And that's pretty much what it was.
Ooh, LVI says, I have a crush on you both.
Whoa. Okay, nothing wrong with that.
Oh man, it's funny. Hey, Bria Main coming through. Bria, thank you. Woo! That is love. Super Chat Squad.
Ow.
Said Tim, we had more human interaction but lacked technology. Now we mainly communicate online. I stress the importance of community. We need each other. You do that. As someone who follows your channel, I know you are about community. And yeah, I think that's important. Like I'm with you. Like I wish we could go back to. I pine for a time when like we lived in tribes and communities. Yes. And we've discussed this before, but I feel like maybe in the future we might be able to get some nomad communities going, or some type of some caravanning, something to where it's like, depending, maybe if it's vehicle dwellers, they can caravan some type. If it's people who just like travel, fly different places, all that, you get a few people and you go on trips together, and keep it, like with the vehicles, everybody's got their own vehicles. Yeah. So you can go your separate ways. If you go somewhere with a group of people, I might have my own Airbnb, but we're all in the same city, so we know we're there. But I feel like, just as nomads, we might be able to establish some type of communities, just so that, when you're feeling like, so you don't feel alone all the time. Because I think sometimes with like people who travel, the loneliness is compounded
Yeah.
because you don't always have, which is part of the reason like I wanted to get my apartment for this year, because like I knew I had 2 really good friends in Denver, excuse me, and up in Estes Park I got 4 or 5 good friends, and I knew like, hey, whenever I want to hang out with somebody I could. So maybe that's something for the future.
I think when I hear about like van gatherings or like nomad gatherings, my first reaction is resistance.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, I don't think I'm going to fit in. I don't think, because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party. Like I'm, kind of more conservative, but I like meeting people. Like I like it, but I think I'm not going to fit in. I think people are going to be like, oh, she's so boring, whatever. I'm a fun girl though. I'm fun, right? Oh, wow.
No, she is fun. Put me on the spot there. No, I'm joking. No. She is fun. Like legitimately.
Thank you.
I feel like she's more fun than you think. Like you might even like she is like she's tons of fun. Like she be being good on the internet.
Yeah,
I do. she is funny. Like
It like I am fun, but I feel like people aren't gonna like recognize it until they get to know me. And so I always think like I talk myself out of going to like the group meetups, the Nomad meetups. And then like I personally don't want to be around like people that are up all night with the music and the smoking and stuff. So like on my end, I'm like, well, I don't want to be around that, which is fine. People do whatever they want, but I just don't want to be a part of it. So I think it is the right thing you're saying is like, trying it out, but then finding your tribe. If you have a vehicle, you can drive away.
Yeah.
So like you could just try it, put yourself out there, and you might meet even 1 or 2 people that are like, yeah, I didn't want to be here either. Like it's too loud or it's whatever. And then you can have your own little mini tribe and, move on. And I think that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Also, Gilberto's coming through with the $2 in the house. Factor as technology, in-person contact not needed. That's true. I mean, it is needed, but I think that's what you're saying is. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Appreciate you.
And Dana White came through as well. Super Chat Squad. Thank you, Dana. This love. It's a great idea to support you both. And I appreciate that. Appreciate the support. And while we're talking about support, big shout out to everybody who hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up for looking nice.
Thumbs up.
That's amazing. That's free. Y'all know. So thank y'all. Thank you, Dana.
If you want to put a like on it, that's free. That's free. Laura's Lanes says, I'm an extrovert that ended up becoming an introvert because, well, I just don't have anybody to hang out with. And believe me, I've tried, but at 47, I've kind of done trying. The people I used to know just ended up betraying me, so I don't hang out with them anymore. They were toxic. Oh my goodness. I fully relate to that. There was like, I had some really good friends for many years, and I'm not going to say that they're like super toxic, but they ended up we grew apart, like either they were negative or something happened in the friendship. And it's like, the older you get, sometimes you're just like, I'm done. I don't want to try that hard. But what I realized is like, if I want a friend, I have to be a friend. I have to put myself out there to be a friend. And it's rough, because I'm not like a natural initiator of conversation. Like when I'm out and about, like I don't want to just walk up to people and be like, oh, you want to be my friend?
Same.
Yeah. But I can relate to what you're saying.
And I've heard a lot of people say that like you get older, and I think a lot of it is late 30s into 40s.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, where do I go to meet some people? And the people that used to be in my life aren't in it anymore. Like, what is the point?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying that when it comes to like romantic relationships, like why even try anymore? But even friends, it's like people's like, bro, I'm too old to be like at the club, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that goes to your point of like, if you're like, I'm done, cool. But for people who's like, I still want to have some interactions, I think it goes to your point of not being negative about it.
Yeah.
If it's just like, hey, currently right now I don't have any friends, but I want some, and I'm just going to keep looking until I find some.
Yeah.
There's 8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
I can find 2.5 friends. So like, I think it's just like putting that in motion, and then because like once it works, it works. You know what I mean? Like once you meet somebody, like you'll know, like, oh, this person's cool. Yeah. Let's be friends. So I think it's just like mindset and being like, I'm gonna find me a friend.
I think it's like I think it's such a good feeling when you find like 1 or 2 like solid friends, because that's a good start. Even if those are the only friends you ever have forever, it's like it feels like, okay, I'm good. Like I have 1 or 2 friends, and if 1 or 2 more pop in, then that's great too. But like if you find somebody that gets you, that really gets you, and they accept you for 100% of who you are, you really have gold in this life. Because it can be very difficult to find that. But when you have that, hold on to that and cherish that, because, lots of people don't have friends. But if you are lonely or depressed or anxious and you would love that, if that hearing that makes you want it, then I think it's worth the effort to like try it, even just a little bit, just even a little bit. Grant is so funny. Grant says, as an introvert, I loved 2020 being in the lockdown. I mean, I totally get that too. During 2020, during the lockdown, I was building my van. So I was stressed out pretty much all of 2020. So I had a different experience.
I was getting them STEMI checks, so I was good. After like the first few months, like when everything, we realized in the beginning I was scared because I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna have a job, be at the house, and I had my YouTube, so I wasn't too worried, but a little nervous. But when they said they was gonna be sending me checks and they started sending me more than I was making it work, I was good. Like there was some times I got cabin fever. That was about the worst thing. That because my roommate at the time, he still had to go to work.
Oh.
So I was at home all day long, and like since he was working, he would come home and like go to his room because he's like, I don't want to, in case so like I was around nobody, going back to the loneliness. And there were some nights like 9 o'clock at night, I would just get this overwhelming sense of like, I need to get out this house. And I would just like go walk around the neighborhood just to like get out. But other than that, like I was on Amazon, I was buying courses,
I had a curious question for both audiences. For those that are in Canada or other countries, did you guys get stimulus checks like in your countries?
I think Canada did.
I never even thought about that. That, Americans, we're out here getting, checks coming through.
I was getting to the guap.
Wow.
I was getting checks.
You're getting extra, I see.
I was getting checks. Like I was getting more than I was making. I was probably making $200+ more a week at home than I was making at work. That's why, like when they called and was like, "Hey, we're going back to work," I was like me and my boss literally had the conversation. Was like, if we don't go back right now, will they fire us? Like, can they?
Wow.
We went back, because we good people.
Yeah.
But I wanted to read this comment. Miriam said, "Hey Tim, I'm 40 years old and about to rent a room in a house. I'll have roommates for the first time since my 20s. I'm looking forward to it." Nice.
Oh, I love it.
Nice. Yeah,
love to hear it.
And like I said, back home in Denver, I have a roommate, and me and him have had this discussion. Sometimes it's just good to have somebody. And even when I've had roommates that like my last roommate in Montana, I didn't know him. I just met him. We kind of clicked. It was like, okay, I think he's a decent person. He said the same thing. And it's just good to have somebody in the house sometimes. Like me and my roommate in Bozeman, we didn't talk as much as my roommate now, but some days like I'd be in the kitchen, he'd come home, we talk for 20 minutes. Something going on in the world, we might, nice. If I don't come home for a couple of days, he might, "Hey Tim, you okay?" Just have, or he's missing for a while, shoot him, "Hey, you good?" Just
That's
having
exciting.
Somebody in your life that is looking out for you and cares, or you can just say hi to, is amazing. So yeah, I'm big on, and I think this is going to get more and more popular as time goes on, is people, especially people 30s, 40s.
Because rent's so high.
Yeah, rent's so high. Like I think more and more people are gonna. I saw it, and I mentioned this last time about the boommates, senior citizens getting roommates, but that was something that they said was like, especially when you get 60, 70.
Yeah.
So many of your friends are out your life.
Yeah.
A lot of times the kids and the grandkids don't come through except on the holidays. So it's good to have another human being your age to talk to, like, just to, and a lot of the, I remember one documentary, it was two ladies, and and I never thought about this because I don't cook, but she was like, it is so great to have somebody to cook for.
Oh, I love
and
that.
I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was like, I don't even want to cook for myself. But she was like, it's been years since I got to cook 2 plates.
That's so nice.
And I was like, I never thought about something like that. That just like, I love to cook. I just don't want to be me and the dog. I just want, what I mean? So I'm like, I do think this whole concept of we have to get our own place and live alone is starting to go out the window. More and more people be like, it's cheaper. Somebody's there. Yeah. So shout out to you, Marion. Good luck.
Laura O'Neill. Hi, you two. Good to listen to this. People today just don't want to talk today about anything serious or relevant. What do you think about that?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's the.
Yeah.
And I think the way we use social media plays a part in this because the stories, like all this real life stuff, is the same stuff people always struggle with.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about it. We'd much rather talk about the latest gossip, the latest trend, the latest political thing. But like,
political thing, and then people argue.
But no one's like, hey, how do we combat loneliness? People, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, nobody wants a solution. They just want to argue with each other.
Yeah.
Which is like, what's the point of that?
Deborah asked, and I mentioned this earlier, but Deborah asked, did we do our Super Bowl dinner? Yes, we did it just before we came on the stream.
Tonight.
Went to Carrabba's. I had the lasagna. They didn't have a more expensive lasagna. They only had one. I was going to ask, could I get it supersized? Because it wasn't in the price range I felt, worthy of how bad Allison
I offered
lost.
if you wanted to get dessert too, and you said no, so that's on you.
You're not killing my figure.
Okay, well, I offered. I said, hey, if you wanted something else, you could have got it.
As he was taking the check away, you were like,
listen, you gotta be quick. I
don't really eat dessert, but yeah, she paid up, and
I did.
It was.
I honor my debts.
She does. So next year.
Better Flight says, can social media in moderation make you feel less lonely? I think yes, for sure. But I think if you're gonna just cut out social media, what are you gonna do? Like, are you just going to put on the TV? Because then no. Like, I think if you're going to cut out parts of, like, say, 2 less hours a day or a week on social media, then you should fill that time with, like, meeting up with a friend, making a phone call. Meeting up is always better. I think people in real life should get together in real life if they can and get off the social media. And if you go out with somebody in real life, put your phone away. Like, that bugs me so much. Like, when I'm out with somebody and there's like, oh, hold on, I just got to check this real quick. I just got to check this. No, you don't.
Or they don't say it. You're talking and they suddenly just be like,
so rude. Rude. I hate that.
And then they stop and either they just,
you're like,
you're like, bruh.
I'm listening.
Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no. It's all good.
Ken says, do you think it's possible to be lonely if you are fully present? Doesn't loneliness come from the thought of feeling like you're alone? Maybe that's hogwash, if that's still a saying. Yes, that is a saying. But I think you can be fully present and in understanding the present moment, realize you wouldn't mind being around another person. Like there is kind of this ideal that like the ultimate enlightenment, and if you're present in the moment, as present as possible, you don't need anything in life. And I don't think that's what enlightenment is about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we're social creatures. So, I mean, it's in our DNA, like however you want to spin it. It's in our DNA, like you said about the babies, like a baby will die if it gets no love.
Yeah.
Like you can try to feed but if it's no love. So I think as humans, we need that social interaction. So being present in the present moment might remind you of how much like, it'd be nice to have a friend. It'd be nice to, go hang out with so-and-so. So yeah, I don't think you need to try to, like, loneliness isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if loneliness, like if you're lonely all the time, if you're okay, but like, if loneliness pops up just to tell you, oh, maybe I need to go spend some time with somebody. Like loneliness is kind of letting you know there's something missing.
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean? So like, that's not
like
a bad
hunger.
thing. Yeah. Like hunger. Yeah. So he's like, hunger is bad when you don't go eat. But like, if you get hungry, it's like, oh, I need to eat something. You go eat. Cool. So I think loneliness sometimes is just reminding you, oh, I need to hang out with some people.
Solid point. Also, this is really deep. Michael, Internet Pro. Yes, Gen X was a part of the latchkey kids generation. Most of us were from single parent, high divorce rates, that were left home alone for long periods of time. This made us introverts. That's deep.
That is.
That's true, because that's when like women were really starting to go back, like go into the workforce and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like both my parents worked, and I was a latchkey kid for a moment there, where I'd ride the bus home and walk in and just go in by myself. My mom would come home like an hour or two later. There's that little period between the time you got off school and the time they got off work.
What did you do?
Just go in and do homework, but probably didn't.
You are a good kid. You are.
I probably didn't.
good.
I probably went and had snacks. My mom would be like, "Where's all the food?" I don't know. I don't know.
All up in the fridge.
Yeah, all up in the pantry. But that's a really deep comment.
Doris says, seems loneliness might be a first world problem. I personally, I would disagree, Doris. Like, I think sometimes some things are just natural human emotions, and we try to like act like they're not. Like, I don't think it's bad if you haven't been around people for, you haven't been around people for a while and you feel a little lonely, like that's not a first world problem. Like everybody around the world gets lonely. You know what I mean? Now there might be some people who be like, I'm hungry because I'm starving and I'm lonely and I'm going to address the hunger first. But there's like, you know what I mean? I get the loneliness is a big deal. Like it's not a first world, to me, it's not a first world problem. It's not something we should be ashamed of. It's just like something we should try to address. Like it's something needs to be fixed.
I would go right in the middle of you two. If
Okay.
she's saying that it's a first world problem and you're saying it's not, I want to slide right in the middle of that and say that I think in maybe country, and I'm making this up, I'm not a professional here, but I'm just saying countries like America and maybe Europe could be, we have this problem because we have a lot of excess, we have everything, all the things. And, you know, we kind of are so comfortable that we can do whatever we want. But countries that are based on tribes or community or being together as a family, like even in like parts of like Italy where they eat together as family, they go out and have dinner at 9 and they have the wine and they, you know, families come together. And other cultures, they're probably like, get away from me. Like I'm with my family all the time, you know, like people are in my business all the time. I could see that in a lot of parts of the world, maybe loneliness isn't as prevalent, but because we have so much, we've done it to ourselves with all the greed and all the stuff that we have. We've padded our life with all of our stuff instead of people. So that's what I think could probably be true, is like, this is a first world issue that other like places are like, why are you lonely? I'm always busy and doing stuff and having people.
Okay. I see that side of it. I know one of the things in, like, I know like Japan and China, just speaking of different places around the world, they're having huge like loneliness epidemics, and like their marriage rates and birth rates are plummeting. And a lot of that is because since a lot of, they're still pretty traditional, but also now very modern.
Yeah.
But they still kind of have some traditional views about like marriage.
Okay.
So one of the big things there is like a lot of, you know, you got a lot of like farm.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of the people from like farming communities are moving to the big city. The young people that get left behind now don't have any mates.
Yeah.
And then the ones who go to the city, you know, there's like, it's like overpopulated. Yeah. So some of the people there don't have mates. So their issue with it is just like a lot of the younger people just can't find anybody to be friends, or more importantly, like date or marry.
Yeah.
And so they're, especially the people left in the country, they're just there, you know, like I'm a farmer and there's no women in my town.
Yeah.
So they're having big issues with that, because it's just like, and then their parents don't understand, because their generation, it was, you know, easy. I'll just go find someone to marry. Right. He's like, Mom, ain't nobody here.
Ain't nobody there.
Dad, there's no, you know what I mean? So like those countries are struggling because, the countries are kind of changing. And they were some of the big ones in those documentaries that they're like, it's like because in like China, they used to be like, oh, one kid.
Yeah.
Now it's like flipped, and they're like, meet somebody, get married, have children. Because
popping.
And it's a lot of, they're seeing a lot of like the and that becomes like the, you know, some of these movements you see over there where people don't want to work because they're just like, well, what's the point? Like, I can't find love.
Yeah.
I hate my job. So they just literally sit in internet cafes all day and play video games.
Yeah.
That was kind of a sidebar, but it fits.
Yeah, definitely. Cynthia says thing I worry about van lifers is as they age out of their mobile lifestyle. And I was going to kind of segue, and this is a good time to talk about this, is like people that live in vehicles. So I live in a vehicle, for those that don't know. You're moving around a lot. You know, you're not in like a stationary place. So, you know, your friends might be spread out. So you may not have a lot of like in-person situations. But if you don't take the time to like forge those relationships when you age out of living a mobile lifestyle and you go somewhere, you might not have any friends. You might not have anybody around you. And this like kind of is a little bit sideways. This conversation I wanted to have with you and with the audience here is like, because I'm actually curious about this, because I'm not like this. So I'd like to know people that like truly like to be alone. Like you see people, and this is probably an extreme example, people that like literally go into the wilderness and like just go out in a cabin and just live off the land and just want to be alone, don't want anything to do with people. Do you think that's because that's just who they are? Or do you think that's because of life circumstances and they realize people suck? I don't want to have anything to do with it. What do you think? What do you think? And what do you guys think?
I think you have to have a certain amount of that, to me anyway, in you. But I think a lot of those people might have in different times stayed around society, but maybe just, was in the house a lot. But I think some people with new technologies and different things are just like, nah, I can't do it. Like I can't be, which I hear a lot of people on here. It's like, man, I just want to get a cabin in the woods and disappear. Like those are some of the most popular videos on YouTube. We talked about this, like, women just getting a cabin out in the woods. So I think it is a byproduct of like a lot of, I honestly think, y'all know me, I'm not anti-technology, but I just feel like just because we can be more technologically advanced doesn't mean it's always better. And I think a lot of that is pushing back from that. People are like, this doesn't seem right. So I think it's kind of a combination, but I think you have to already have that in you. Like if you're just like an extreme extrovert who loves being around people, I don't think the cabin in the woods would work. You'd probably jump off a cliff out there or something because you'd go crazy. But yeah. What would you say?
I don't know, because like I'm only coming off of my experience, like because I've often been like, I love myself. I love being alone. I love, my little van space. I love the coziness of being by myself. But I think that's kind of like maybe a lie I've bought into, because what I realize is when I'm really by myself a lot, just physically alone, my life degrades, like my mentality degrades. I start to feel sad and I start to feel like, what am I doing out here in the world? I'm lost, and it goes down quickly. And it's just like, this sucks. But then when I'm just even around one person and I'm able to just talk, then it is like, oh, okay, I'm fine. Okay, things are good. I'm good. And like I said, like I can be in my van for a while, but if you're there for too long. So when I think about somebody just like not wanting to be around anybody ever, it reminds me of like Castaway, like with, what's his name?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, where he was just like, he adapted because he had to. But once that ship came up, Wilson. Yeah. But look at that. Like he had to create a persona. True, and I think a lot of people that move out into the woods have a dog, a pet. I think you could you might be a little crazy, and I'm not trying to be mean, or you will go crazy.
Yeah.
Like when you see the people that are just out in the woods, like making their own fur clothes and stuff like that. I mean, is that a little crazy, or is that just natural and okay? Because I really truly believe that we weren't made to live life alone, but that's just my personal beliefs. So when I hear people that are like, I just want to go away and never talk to anybody, I don't want to take that away from somebody, because that's truly maybe how they really feel. But I'm just curious to like know if what do you guys think? Like, is that a person that was never wanting to be around people, or some like series of things in their life got them to be that way?
And that's a good point. They might have went through like an extreme hurt. Maybe the love of their life broke up with them, or or died, and then suddenly it's like, what's the point of people?
Yeah.
People equal pain.
Yeah.
So they just go, and like I would, as we're talking about this, like that would be a cool kind of like thing to have. Like, say you have like a cabin in Alaska, in the middle of nowhere, and you just like drop people off. People pay to go there and see how long they can last.
How fast they go
like,
crazy.
Yeah, like they got a sat phone, so they can call you to come pick them up whenever they want. But just so people could see how long, like you got to pay for the
There's
whole.
a show. It's called Alone.
Yeah, but I mean, like for regular people, like if there was a cabin, you got to pay for the whole month, right?
You got to pay.
You got to pay. Yeah, it's
No.
It's like remember we're talking about the rich people stuff. You make you make an experience. So it's like, okay, this is called the cabin in the woods experience. You pay for the whole month.
Some of those people couldn't make it one day.
That's what I'm saying. But they already paid for the whole month. So like, you're like, hey,
we should do that.
You have this cabin for the whole month. Here's your provisions. You can stay as long as you but if you need to leave, call the sat phone. We'll immediately come get you. See how long people could stay by themselves in like a fully stocked cabin, but like in the middle of nowhere.
That would be awesome.
Because dude,
I'd love to like have cameras and film that and see how crazy they go.
See?
New channel coming up soon.
But like I can see rich people doing it, because it'd be like a flex in like the office. Like, bro, I stayed in the cabin 2 weeks. You were there 3 days. It's like, it was different. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I would like to see how long I could.
Me too.
A couple of wolf howls. Oh, in the middle of the night, I might be like.
I grew up in the desert. We have coyotes. That I heard that all the time.
What about scratching?
No,
at the
no
door?
scratching. No scratching.
Scratching at the door.
If there's a scratch at the door, I'm out. I don't know. I'm calling something. I'm like, get me out of here. Also, smash the like button. Thanks, Libby. Yes, if you're on this live stream, these live streams, pop a little like on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm alone a lot, so I think I could last in the cabin for a very long time. But it's a different story, because I do talk on the phone with my friends or my mom or, my sons or whatever. So if you didn't have access to call anybody, I think I'd go down real quick.
No TikTok.
No YouTube, no
No
TikTok,
YouTube.
Nothing.
No, you just in the woods with the provisions.
And no TV?
No, it's a cabin in the woods.
No, bro.
They don't get city out there.
So I'm going to make a video about this, but I've done 2 silent retreats. I think I told you. I couldn't even make it 24 hours without talking to myself. And there was other people around, also silent too, but no. I'm telling you, everyone should try this once in their life, or at least once. Go to a place where there's no reception. Like this first place I went to, they didn't have, it was up in the mountains. They didn't have anything, no cell service, no internet, nothing. I didn't even know when I went up there. I was like, oh, you don't have even a phone reception? They're like, no. It's really, and there was no TV, no nothing. You had to just be alone with your thoughts. And luckily I had brought some books and paper. So I was just writing and I had the phantom, I'd be laying in bed trying to go to sleep and I'd have the phantom trying to grab for the remote. There's no remote. Or grab for my phone.
Try to check your phone?
Yeah, I couldn't check it. It's wild. If you put yourself out of the options, you might go a little slight crazy,
I would like to try that for a day.
Yeah.
No. It's funny when I was at Yellowstone, back then the cell phones weren't as good. And it was very, very sparse cell signal and the Wi-Fi was like crap. But there's a ton of people around and you're in the middle of Yellowstone National Park. But honestly, one of the most peaceful times being away from social media, television, there weren't even TVs in the hotel rooms. So there was no TV. So we got no news. And I remember when I finally would get a chance to talk to some of my friends or something, they'd be like, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? Remember that? And I'd be like, what are y'all talking about? There were just so many things that happened I had no clue about.
Yeah.
It felt great. It felt great to be in the middle of nowhere and a bunch of people. So that was cool. But you couldn't get on your phone. I literally, I remember I wanted to listen to some Drake song. I literally had to pull it up on my phone and put the phone down for 5 minutes. And then the song finally loaded and then I could listen to it. It was that bad. But it felt great to just not be tapped in.
Yeah.
There were times when I was like, man, I really want to call somebody. But there is something to being away.
I think it's the same as giving up a substance. For me, it'd be sugar. At first you're whoa, I need the sugar. But after a few days, I don't know how long it would take to detox from a social media or screen time. But after a few days off sugar, I'm I don't need sugar. I'm fine. But I think your body is in shock because if you're constantly picking up your phone every 15 minutes, and I think it's even probably more now. I think people pick up their phone every 5 minutes, even less. I think you will go through some sort of a panic a little bit, and then you'll be like, whoa, this is crazy.
I feel like it's the opposite. People might put their phone down every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
most people, it's just an appendage.
That's
now, it just doesn't go. They might look up and see, where am I? Oh, okay. And then they're back down. It's, once again, not demonizing technology or the phones. It's the way we use them.
Yeah.
Let's get some of these comments.
Laura says, and this is a really good point. Laura says, we have a glut of narcissists everywhere. They are so toxic and are exhausting. I have gone ghost from them. And that's a really solid point why I think people give up on people and friends. Because I think there's a lot of extremely selfish people. Extremely, I think with the whole self-care and I'm an introvert and all the I canceled plans because I want to stay home and be by myself. Sorry, it bothers me. You could tell it bothers me. I think it's because people have gotten so locked into the point of I'm the only thing that matters. Everything revolves around me that they're mean to people. They're like, oh well, sorry, I had to cancel plans that was important to you, but I needed self-care. I think that is so true that a lot of people have just given up on people because, I've had friends that I'm no longer friends with that we'd be sitting at like a restaurant and they'd be just on their phone, like, doing filters on their pictures and like they just look up for a second and then they, and you're just like trying to have a conversation. And I'm like, yeah, we're not going to be able to be friends because you're not part of this relationship. It's terrible.
Bro, if we're at lunch and you're filtering pictures,
Yeah.
now if you get a text, maybe, but like if you're filtering pictures
Actively
I'm done.
and posting, I'm like, bro, that's
I'm
not
done.
that serious.
Someone just asked if I was on a date and the person pulled out their phone, what would you do? If like the person is on their phone a lot, I'm gonna stay on the date, but I know it's not gonna go no further.
I'm gonna say something. I'm not. I will actually be like,
It's not going to.
I'm gonna be like, so do you plan on being on your phone the rest of the night? Like, I'll just say it because I'm too old for that. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not gonna do it. Or actually, if they're on their phone that strong, I'll be like, excuse me, I'll go to the bathroom, but I'll leave. And they'll look up 20 minutes later because they'll be on that phone and they'll be like, where'd she go? And then they'll text me and I'll be like, I had to leave because obviously you weren't paying attention and it took you 20 minutes to figure out I was gone. No, thank you.
I'm just gonna shut down and like, even when they get off the phone, once I'm done. Like I'll get through the date, but like
No.
I'm done. Like there's nothing. Like even if it was a date where I didn't think it was long term, but I thought maybe some fun was to be had, I don't even want that no more.
Yeah.
Like that's how turned off I would be. I'm just like, man, let me get through this, get her back to the house, her house, like
Yeah.
I'm like, because we got nothing in common if you this the whole time.
Oh no.
I mean, you gonna be like that later too, probably. Like,
Yeah.
like it wouldn't even be. Yeah, that's yeah.
I just want to read this real quick. Grant said he's from Canada. There were checks in Canada. I didn't need anything as I was continuing to work from home, but there were checks. And the best thing that came out of the pandemic was now I work from home permanently, which is that's awesome. And a lot of people got to do that, which I'm really happy about. Because I think most people could probably work from home if they're disciplined enough.
If you got a job that has the option, which I think a lot more jobs might be open to that than some people think. I feel like, even though there is kind of that shift lately, they're like, you got to go back to the office, but that might shift back the other way. When these companies see the power bill, they're like, y'all go back home.
Yeah.
I retired 2019, said I do coughing and hiking first dates. Yeah, if you hiking and she jumps on her phone, oh, that's that. If we're taking a hike and they on the phone, oh, that's a problem. That's a problem.
I would like to make a little point about that comment. I love coffee dates or like smoothie dates for like first meetups.
Smoothie date, okay.
Yeah, I love that. I, as a woman, would probably not like a first date hike because I don't know you. And especially if it's a place that doesn't get a lot of traffic on the hike, I'd be nervous to meet up with a guy on the first date to have a hike. But if we had already met, then I'd be down for that.
Or like a hike somewhere high traffic.
High traffic would be fine too.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not that in shape, so I don't want my first impression or his first impression to be of me like, could you slow down? Because like I need to catch up. Like, I don't want that.
I feel like for me, I like first date like coffee. Second one maybe dinner, and then like a third one maybe like, hey, you want to do something outdoorsy,
like an activity.
Yeah. If she goes on a hike with you, she's like a legit hike with you, she's probably feeling you. I learned that working in the national parks.
Yeah.
Like if she goes on a decent hike with you, she's probably feeling you. Because like you said, if she's not comfortable with you, from my experience, she's not gonna go on a hike with you.
No.
So hey, Khalil's Racing, thank you, Super Chat Squad. That is love. Thank you so much. Appreciate that love.
Bill Provost coming through with a $4.99. Have a good night. I'm heading out for some live music. Oh, that's fun.
Oh, it is Friday.
Woo. Thank you.
Here's probably the most important question of the night.
What is it? What?
It comes from Mad with 2 Ds.
Oh.
Is it weird to ask someone what their credit score is on the first date?
I think maybe not on the first date.
I don't think you could ever ask anybody's credit score.
Why not?
You ask my credit score?
I wouldn't even talk. Like, if you were serious about being exclusive,
it's gonna have to be deep into it. I
don't think first, second, third, or fourth. Like, I think it's if you think you're going to be exclusive with that person.
it's gonna have to be
Because if they have like a 200 credit score, I'll be like, bro, what are you doing with your life?
I feel like you already know though.
You do?
You know, I feel like you'll already know. Like if someone,
How?
I feel like you mean, and unless they've screwed their credit up years ago and they're a different person. If someone just has a horrible credit score, I feel like it's gonna manifest in like their actions now.
Yeah.
But unless it was happened years ago and they're like, man, I'm just trying to dig out this hole. But I feel like I would kind of pick up.
I don't know though.
So you just ask one day, like, hey, we're starting to get a little exclusive.
I don't know if I would ask about
what's that credit score like.
I don't think that I don't even ever think about credit score. So I don't think that I'd ask that. I'd be like, what, like, I'd probably say like,
what that wallet do?
what that wallet do? I think I'd somehow like get to the point of like, I'm debt free.
Okay.
What about you? And if he's like, oh, let me get my scroll out, let me get my list. I'd be like, your credit score has got to be in the toilet. If you got to get a list of your debts. I got college. I had, I broke my leg 14 years ago and I'm still paying that down. Like, I think if you start getting like a list of debts, you've got like multiple credit cards, you already will know about the credit score. I think the debt is the indicator.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of hard to ask about like, what is your credit score? That's a hard, but I think you will pick up through
But you can flex if you have a nice credit score.
When mine gets where I want it, maybe.
I have an excellent credit score.
What's
your credit score?
I was wondering where you're going to say that. I was wondering where you're going to be like, well, I got good credit, so I'm waiting for some man to ask me because I'm going to let him know.
Yeah.
Actually, okay. Let's turn it around. How deep in the relationship do you have to be for it to not be creepy for a guy to ask you your credit score?
Because now I'd be like, if he knew I didn't have debts, like, and he asked me my credit score, I want to know why he wants to know that.
Because he needs a new car.
It's a no for me. Get your own car.
Because he needs a new car. That's why he asked.
No, you should come to the relationship with a car.
He needs a new car.
No, indeed.
He needs some type of loan. If someone asks you,
I will not be co-signing. I will not be getting a car for somebody. No. I won't be like pimping out my credit score that I worked so hard to get. It's a no. Like that person needs to stand on their own 2 feet.
Respect.
So yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's a weird question. If someone's like, if they ask about debt and all that, but if they're like, what's your credit score? I'm like, what do you need?
Yeah.
Shout out to Doris. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. That is love. Thank you so much, Doris. I appreciate that.
Michael, Internet Pros, coming with the deep thoughts today. Maybe being introverted and spending time alone can cause one to become socially awkward after a while, which goes to like why someone would want to go into the woods and just be like, there are socially awkward people. I've met many where you're just like, oof, like they come off with a weird vibe. And I think when they feel it back from other people, then they start to get to the point where like, I don't even want to try anymore because I feel weird. They feel weird. And I'm just going to go live in a cabin.
Yeah, that makes sense. Retired 2019 said, gotta be debt free. I was waiting for Retired 2019 to chime in on the credit score debt free. I was waiting. Ken said on the deathbed, that's when you ask about credit score. By the way, before you go.
Dan Weiss says they are who they are. They were born that way. I have a brother like that. He doesn't need anybody and never has. 60 years old. I'm looking to talk to him once a year. Interesting. So it could be both. Maybe it could be just like that's who some people are. That is very interesting to me.
Hey, Bold and Courageous 41. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. Woo! That is love gang in the building. I appreciate that. So I think men in general live lonelier lives than women. My guy friends for this reason are more draining than my female friends. Men need to support their buddies more. Tim, your last video has scammer. I don't know what that means. Maybe the person in the comments. I'll go check on it. Thank you, Bold and Courageous. When we talked about this before in another chat, another stream, I think personally, just my opinions, I think men and women both get lonely. I think it might be more socially acceptable it's less socially acceptable for a man to admit he's lonely and to like, man, I just need to find a friend. It don't even feel right for a grown ass man to be like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to curse. Sorry.
Okay.
For a grown man
It's a donkey, so.
to be like, exactly. For a grown donkey man to be like, oh, I need to, you know what I mean? It feels weird. So yeah, I need to find me some friends. I'm so lonely. Like society has taught us that like as a man, you need to stand on your own 2 feet. You're fine. Be a man. Suck it up. So I think a lot of times maybe men don't, express it. But I feel like I would imagine we, and maybe that's why you said your guy friends are more draining because when they do find someone, they're like, oh, because we put these walls up. I'm okay. But I think men and women both get lonely. But yeah, maybe men we do for that reason. Maybe we are a little lonelier because we don't talk about it as much. Whereas women is acceptable.
Yeah.
To be like, I'm lonely. I need somebody to talk to, and everybody's like, oh, you'll find somebody, girl. But like, dude, if your boy came up, man, I'm lonely. You like,
yeah.
Hold up, bro. Like, where's this conversation
It's
going?
like we just expect men to be stronger,
Yeah.
regardless of what's happening in their life, and that's not right. I don't agree with that. And I could talk 100 years about the mistreatment of men, but people were like, "Oh, men's got it so good. Men toxic masculinity, whatever." I don't agree with it, but whatever. Gilberto coming with the $2 and wants me to read the 2 paragraphs, but let me give you a shout first. Let's see. Okay, HGJ says, about what Allison said, that's a very good point. In Greek mythology, there is a goddess named Hestia. She's the goddess of a warm, happy home. Simply put, she is the personification of togetherness. As time progressed, we lost the hearth, her place in the home, and we didn't need her anymore. Back then, we saw that togetherness was important, that we actually made a god to symbolize it. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't believe in any other gods except for God. But I understand maybe where you're coming from in terms of the togetherness. I think that could be like a whole longer, topic of, I think it's just kind of goes along with what I was saying earlier about like cultures and how there's more togetherness in certain cultures and we don't value that anymore. Like you could look in America where people don't even take care of their parents anymore. People are just out there in these streets, just like never checking in on their family members. People don't even gather for holidays anymore, and even if they don't celebrate holidays, they just see each other like maybe once a year, but probably not. People don't value together time because they're like, oh, my family's so whatever the thing is, like they don't understand me, they don't care about me, whatever. And it's like we've given up on gathering with each other. And even if people don't have family, like just gathering with friends, like to kind of take that place of like family.
Yeah.
I think we have lost togetherness. And even like we never even check on our neighbors. We don't know our neighbors. We don't care about our neighbors. We're just mad at our neighbors for doing whatever irritating thing they're doing. Like we're just very self-centered and self-focused.
Yeah.
And so I think togetherness has been lost along the journey.
I'm guilty of the neighbors ones because back home, like I love everybody, but I ain't trying to know my neighbors. And I'll say that, and it's more from a nobody speaks to anybody.
Right.
So like every time you see them, it is because they're being loud or, oh, that guy didn't hold the door.
How dare you?
It's always like whenever I think about my neighbors, it's like you said, the negative thing that might have happened. So it's just that is weird, that like, yeah, because I'm not that type of person. But when I think about my apartment complex, I'm like, I ain't trying to know these people. And I'm like, what are you saying, Tim? Like it's
right.
But yeah, I think that's just the norm. You find yourself falling into that role,
Oh, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Life of Lucretia coming in with a new membership on the channel, Munch Bunch. That's what we call our members, our super snackers, if you will.
Who? What was the first one?
Munch Bunch.
Oh, okay. And then
super snackers.
Okay.
So we got our snack pack. It's our family and stuff. But, if you want to like go to the next level, become a member, super snackers, Munch Bunch.
So you got your memberships live. Okay.
Yeah, it comes on live, bro.
You got members.
You're sleeping. Okay. I'm going to give a yodel. Thank you for being part of the membership of the Munch Bunch. Thank you. Welcome. So thank you for doing that on the live because that's always fun to see.
Here's a question, kind of off topic, but not. How do y'all feel about long distance relationships?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Y'all know what I'm gonna say about this one. I am all for long distance relationships. The few relationships I've had, all been long distance. Part of it is I'm an introvert. So like, I like the ideal of having my own space. Typically for me, I was my place, own space during the week. And on the weekends, on my days off, I'd go like stay with her. always works out that way. Nobody ever comes and stays with me. I love that. And it was great. Like that works perfect for me. During the week, we might talk on the phone a couple times, but I loved it because there was always that like longing to see her. It'd be like Tuesday, and it's like, dang, gotta wait till Friday to see. There never was like the sense of it getting old, or it took a lot longer for it to seem normal. So like I'm all for, but once again, those were long distance hour or so away. As far as like long distance halfway across the country, or she's in Bali and I'm in Canada or something like that, I don't know, but like I like the ideal of some separation, just because for me I don't do well all the time together, same space like that, forever and ever. I did have one of those relationships. She asked me to move in, and I was like, nah, like that would ruin it. Like I know me. Like I was like, it was like 3 months into it. She's like, we should move in. And I'm like, because she had her own place, and I'm like, and there was a spare bedroom. She's like, you can have this. I was like, it'll ruin it. I know me. Like it'll be
as long as you know yourself. That's good.
Yeah. So I'm all for it because I know it works for me. Can't speak for everyone. Allison?
Before I answer, I just want to say that we got a lot of little comments about the credit score. HJ said questions about credit score should come about if you're getting married. And then Lance says, if they pay with a prepaid credit card, red flag, and a bunch of other red flags as well.
What's wrong with prepaid credit card?
Hey,
Does debit card count? I pay with everything debit card.
I don't know.
Like, is debit card wrong? So someone has to have, not coming at you, just asking. You'd be leery if they didn't have a major credit card?
I don't think it's a deal breaker, but I just wonder like why you have to do that. Like why you have to have a prepaid.
So if they always use debit, is that a problem?
No.
Oh, but if it was like legit prepaid.
Yes, I guess it doesn't really matter.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, does anyone even use prepaid credit card?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Do they got to?
I don't know.
I'd be like, why you got a prepaid credit? What are you buying?
Like, what's happening here?
Are you on the dark web? What are you doing? like, why would you have?
To answer the question about the long distance, I could do long distance for a short time, but I'm a very, like when I'm in a relationship, I'm like a very quality time, touchy feely. I want to be near my partner situation. Like I want to adventure together. I want to spend time enjoying each other together. I don't want to be like, oh, I can't wait to see you like for 10 years. I don't want to do that. No, I could do like a few months. And like, I think it's actually kind of nice in the beginning because you have to get to know each other. If you're talking on the phone, you're going to cut out like the whole like sexual thing because you literally aren't in the same space.
That's a good point.
So you're going to be really getting to know that person's heart and mind and everything about them. If you're spending time getting to know each other, I think it's quite nice. And it takes that pressure off. But to do that for a long time, I don't even want to go down that path because I want to be in each other's lives. I don't want to just be like on like a phone date every time. So I don't know. That's how I am.
That's a good point. I'm asking myself now, how long, if we decided to be together like forever, quote unquote, would there eventually come a time where I'd be like, yeah, I guess we can move closer?
Yeah. We can move to 2 cities over.
Like I'll still have my own apartment, but like it'll be down the road. I don't know.
Let's see.
Ken said if someone actually asked me my credit score, I would be impressed.
Oh.
That is a good point because that shows that they're, depending on how, like if they asked and I could tell they were like credit score savvy, I get it.
Yeah.
If they're like, oh, what's your credit score? I've been working on mine. But if they're like low key wanting me to spring for something, what's your credit score? It depends on how they say it, I think too. But that is a good point. Like if someone's just like, hey, how's your credit?
That Michael makes a good point. One bad hospital bill, sickness can knock out your credit. Debt is the issue. That's true. I can like, I'm not even, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really ever think about credit score because there could be a lot going on from old debts, you know? So I think it's the debt for me. It's like if somebody has a bunch of debt and they're in their like 40s or 50s, because that's my age range, I'm like, why though? Like, what is happening with your, like, if you tried to start a business and like something happened during the pandemic or, lots of things can happen. I'm not saying people can't have debts. I would just want to know how'd you get in so much debt? If it's because you're frivolous or you just made stupid choices that you shouldn't have made, then I think that's in your character. And I think you're probably going to continue to do that. So
And I think you probably would have already know that. You know, what I mean, you would have seen something
Yeah.
else, and so when you heard about it, you'd be like, "Yeah, I think that's just the third red flag I needed."
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll through. Oh, we got another member, Sandra's Diamond Road, who I actually know in real life. Sandra came out to San Diego when I was there, and we had a grand old time. It was awesome, so fun, and I can't wait to see you again at some point, Sandra. But welcome to the Munch Bunch. I love you. Love having you here. It's awesome. 2 new members. Woo! It's exciting. Susan's here also a member. There's lots of members in the chat tonight. So thank you.
You do know if I had memberships live, my members will be coming through too. I'm just like,
But you sleeping on it, so too bad.
I'm just letting you know. If YouTube
Snapchat members, they coming in.
YouTube
I
keeps
love
bothering me to go live with it. I'm just letting you know. Don't feel like you just outdoing me too much right now. You know, you are, but like, it's not.
If the shoe fits.
It's not the community's fault. It's my
No,
fault.
you got a great community.
Yeah,
I love your
it's
community
them.
as well.
It's me. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Bunchy Munch.
Oh, Grant says Grant had a long distance relationship before Jackie. She was in BC. I was in Alberta. Lasted 18 months. That's a long distance situation. How far is that? Is that like, how far apart is that? Is that like a couple hours? I don't know where those places are. Like, is
what
that
were
like
the things again?
Well, BC and Alberta.
British Columbia and Alberta. Oh.
I don't know how far that is, but 18 months is a stellar. I mean, for long distance. No, I don't want to do that.
That's what, a year and a half.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I'm like, that's 2 years. It's 18 months. Get it together.
Let's see. Oh, retired 2019 coming through with the $5. Ooh. Travels not so much respect to you for living the van life. I found some women are uncomfortable dating a man that retired early like I did. Oh no, that's hey. Thank you. No, I don't. I mean, if you worked and you retired early, that's actually, to me, I think that's actually smart planning ahead of time. Like, you knew what you needed to do, you got on it and you did it and you're retired. And if you have it together, it's like you've done your job. But like, I do know a lot of people that retire do want to like work some more to like earn more money. And that's just, you do what you want to do. Like, you've already retired. So I think it depends on you as a person and what type of person, if you want to keep working or not. So I don't know. I'd definitely date somebody that was like retired early if his ducks were in a row.
Yeah, that's what's weird to me because like I know retired 2019, his ducks are in a row. Like, like
quack,
this
quack.
is somebody who like did it right and retired and is good.
Yeah, I wish
so
I
like
did. Yeah.
to hear him say like some women are like what, like you know what I mean?
Like, why?
It's not like you was forced out, fake early retirement, leave.
Yeah.
But like when it's like I handle my finances correctly all these years, I think that goes to like the ideal that I feel like we, especially our generation, this ideal and the ones before us that you have to work till 65, 70, and then or 67, whatever, then you're allowed to retire. So if you retire early, they're just like, what? Why you ain't working? You know what I mean? You still young. Why you ain't working? Like, I think people can't, especially if they're still.
No, I wish somebody would have, and I don't know if I would have listened in my 20s, but I kind of wish somebody would have like shown me like, hey, if you do these things, you can retire. But I always just, I guess in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a famous singer one day. I'm just going to be like so rich, I don't think you think about it when you're younger.
No.
But if you do, that's pretty awesome to me. You thought ahead. That's really great.
Which, I mean, you don't work now, so.
Me?
Yeah. I mean, you work, like, but I'm saying you don't work for the man, is what I'm saying.
No, I don't.
So,
I mean,
like,
I guess YouTube's the man.
I don't like to look at it that way. No, I'm saying, like, you don't work a regular job now.
No, not
so,
not a
like,
traditional job.
you acted on that desire.
Yeah.
So, but I imagine there's probably some people who's like, oh, I don't know if I could date or marry a YouTuber. I'm sure.
That's okay.
I'm sure whatever you do, even if it is better for you, there will be people who don't understand it.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is their right. But like, it just seems weird that someone would be like, oh, you're retired. That's a red flag for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
He needs to still be working. He needs to be clocking in.
Yeah.
If it's going to last.
Let's see. Okay, BC to Alberta was 720 miles. That's a long distance.
You got to hop on the plane.
That's a situation.
Good
to you. I mean, really, that's a That's actually like accomplishment.
You got to fly to go see.
Yeah.
There was one of my relationships I would take the Greyhound
Oh,
to go see her. It was only like an hour and a half on the Greyhound.
still,
But
that's
like,
effort.
yeah, I hopped on a Greyhound, man. Like, and the kids, when she was dropping me off Sunday afternoon, the kids was always crying because to see me go made me feel good. But actually, I was made me feel good. But with all that crying, I was ready to go back home. But
You're like, I'm good.
but yeah, used the Greyhound bus. I had a video on my other channel about like how Greyhound saved my relationship or something. It's weird, but
Really?
yeah, I used to hop on that bus, hour and a half.
Deborah, 720 miles. We're meeting halfway.
Yeah, how do you decide who goes where? And you can't drive that. You'd be
No,
tired.
that's a long situation. I guess you would maybe make plans every month, or I don't even know. That's a long.
Yeah, how often would you meet?
Yeah. I'm curious.
That's a lot going on. We need to unpack this.
Unpack it. Let's see.
I'm curious. I'm like, how do you? Angela said they was crying because you were going on the Greyhound. They knew. They're like, please.
They knew.
Please, it's rough. It's rough on there. Actually, that was a cool leg between Ocala and Gainesville. Was actually not a bad leg of Greyhound. That was one reason I did it. Like there wasn't really too many crazies on there. Would I date somebody who only travels by Greyhound? Actually, if they had the money to travel otherwise and they still only travel Greyhound, that might be a deal breaker for me. Because I'd be like, why? What are you getting out of Greyhound?
Yeah. It's the name is only for Anne, but I think it may be OnlyFan. I don't know. I had somebody ask me what my debt was on the first date. I think that's a little pushy on a first date.
Don't be in my pockets.
Like
on a
you're
first date.
literally just meeting.
Yeah.
Although I will say that people are literally just meeting and then half an hour later they're having sex. There's lots of people that go out on dates and literally just, oh, you want to see me naked?
I'm going to refrain from weighing in on that one. Well, you brought it up. So I am much more likely to sleep with you on the first date than tell you my credit score.
Well, of course. That's what I'm saying is like people do all kinds of wild things. So I don't think it's that wild to ask. I mean, I'm saying I don't agree with it, but what I'm saying is it's not that wild because people are like exposing your whole nakedness.
That doesn't seem wild to me. That's just human behavior, nature. We both hot. Let's go have sex. If that's what we want to do, two consenting adults. That's just normal to me. You asked about my credit score is abnormal to me. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's built into our society, maybe even just America or
my credit score, my finances.
Places.
I'd be like, I got enough credit to pay for this dinner. That's all you need to know.
It's funny to me the things that we'll do but won't do.
Yeah. I totally would be like, that would be a deal breaker. It's like, so what's your credit? I'm like, I don't even know you. But then, yeah, I would probably go and play the horizontal polka all night long. Back as a younger man. Yeah. As a younger man. I'm not really into that as much these days, but like I totally would do that before I told you my credit score. Like,
oh, okay. Grant says, I pay for everything by credit card for points, air miles, and then transfer the funds to clear the balance. He's talking about how they would, make their little trip, or he'd pay for it. That's actually smart. You're getting paid to date because you're getting airline points. That made it sound bad. Sorry, Grant.
I was just dating her for the points. She's like, he's just really just dating me for the points.
He really loves to see me a lot. He's like, no, my points are racked up. Now we can break up. I got my 4 flights, free flights.
I can go see my other girlfriend.
Ooh, that's a shyster move, bro.
Down in the States.
Dang. Holly says, I'm for dreams and non-traditional work. My husband had a dream to work in the film industry. I believed in him. Now he provides for both of us in a job that he loves in set decoration and film and TV. That's awesome. I like that too. I'm in for dreams and non-traditional work too. I'm okay with that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind if a guy has a non-traditional dream or something he wants to do. I think and I know this is subjective, But like, for example, if he has a dream to open a shop or, do something that I guess it's subjective, but if he's like, I want to be a rapper and he's like 45 or 50, I'm sorry.
I knew you were going there.
But also, no.
I knew you were going
I'm sorry, but listen, I wanted to be a singer. I grew up since I was like 8 years old wanting to be a famous singer. But at a certain point, you realize like, okay, I'm aging myself out. Like there's people coming into this industry in, their teens and 20s. And it's a no. Like no.
Susan Boyle never gave up.
But she wasn't going to be a rapper.
Singer, rapper. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You 45 and you're
like that's a different genre of music. He's coming to our dates in like the gold chains and whatnot, face tats. No, no, thank you. Like you missed your opportunity. Be a producer, be a writer. Be an engineer, a music engineer. Go write for some music publications. Do something. I'm not going to follow you on tour. It's going to be a no. I'm sorry. Your dreams are busted in my book. I'm sorry.
What if he has bars though?
He can have bars as a hobby. He can make his own little recording studio, bars on the weekends. Just like some people like to play video games. Some people like to knit. He can have bars on the weekends. That's it.
So you saying if Lil Grizz?
No. Lil Grizz in his 50s. He's not 40, little, he's big Grizz.
How you Lil Grizz at 50?
He ain't Lil Grizz. He ain't Lil Grizz.
How you been Lil Grizz for 30 years?
No, it's a no.
Yep, that's age discrimination. No, I'm joking.
Wow.
Do you care?
Oh, Reigns of Healing. They better ask me about my faith before anything to do with money. Have mercy these days.
I respect that.
I love that.
I respect that.
Oh, I'm asking before we even meet, what's your relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ?
On before, like on the phone call.
Yes, even in the chat.
On Tinder.
I'm not wasting my time. If someone's not on the same faith level, it's not going to work for me. Like it's going to be a no for me. Like I don't even want to waste that person's time. I don't want to waste my time. I want them to find who they want to find. That's exactly. I'm on that page. So I'm not really worried about any other things if they don't have that.
Facts. Respect that.
But yeah.
I feel similar about the WNBA. If she don't rock with the W or let me spend my time watching it, it's not gonna work. First and foremost, for anything.
Courtney says credit score can be fixed. Some STDs are forever.
So I've heard.
I mean, listen, that's true. That is true.
That's what. Never mind. I'm not gonna go down that road. Little Grizz.
Michael says, I think non-traditional jobs are fine, but when you get old, will it take care of you? I pretty much kind of agree with that, but kind of not. But I think it depends on how old you are, because you need to think about your future and like where you're going to go, where you're going to be. Like if you don't have somewhere to live, that could be a problem the older you get. I think non-traditional jobs are okay as long as you're setting money aside. If you're trying to do a non-traditional job and you're like 70 and you don't have anything, like a house, like nowhere to go, I don't know. Like I think at some point you've got to really set yourself up for your future.
But why are we assuming that non-traditional jobs aren't going to make as much money as traditional? I feel like that's the assumption.
Yeah, that's
going
true.
in. So most of the wealthy people in the world have non-traditional jobs. So I think that isn't because you could say that about somebody with a traditional job who just never did well with their finance. I think it's a financial thing more than a traditional, non-traditional, because you can make way more money non-traditional than you can make traditional, I feel like.
Yeah.
In some cases. So
yeah, I think it just depends.
Yeah.
HJ, I know of people who has a lot of musical talent, but they were never discovered even though they tried. That is, no truer words have been spoken. There's so many extremely talented people, but they never, met up with the right people to like put them on. But at some point you kind of have to accept that. It's just like football players or actors or whatever. There's many talented people.
Yeah, comedians. Yeah.
Comedians, but at a certain point you have to like come to terms with that. Like, I'm not going to be 70 in the NFL. Like, like, I'm a woman. I'm not going to ever be in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain limitations in life that you're got to come to grips with and be like, okay, like, that's not going to be me, but I can still do something in that field and, move on,
By the way, women's flag football is becoming huge.
Ooh.
Yeah, like I was watching something the other day. I'm a fan. Actually, I Team Mexico is my team. But yeah, women's flag football is becoming the thing. Give it like 10 years. I'm sorry. That's just, I know my women's sports. So.
I can't do that because of my back. If someone tackled me, I know it's not tackle, but you do fall. Like,
Yeah,
you do fall down. I can't do it.
Okay, here's the question.
Okay.
Maybe not football, because I don't think that was ever your dream.
No.
Would you release an album ever again?
If I had the time to do it, like if I had some excess time, yeah, I would probably go back into the writing music, and I'd like to record again. But I don't, just with the YouTube channel alone and just like traveling and stuff, I don't think I have time to dedicate to that. But it's not like I sit around being sad about it. Like, it would be fun to do, but I don't really feel like I have to.
Okay.
But yeah, I would. Like, this says, Courtney says, the sad thing, Allison, is that most people can't sing. You can. Thank you.
I
Appreciate that. Thank you. Grant says, so what you're saying is I should give up on my dream of becoming a rapper.
Never give up.
Listen, Canadian rap might be different.
Canadian rap, they don't care. They don't care. It's not like America.
Maybe ask Jackie how she feels about it first. I'd like to know what Jackie says. That's his wife. I want to hear what Jackie's thoughts are on you becoming a Canadian rapper.
Ivan says, is there anything that could make you change your current lifestyle, such as health problems or family illness needing your help? I mean, I know for me, yeah, definitely. Like, there's always, for any of us, I feel like there's things that can and do happen that alter our lives a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, if something major happens, like, you can't, that's why you get out and do it while you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, that's why it's like, do it while you can, because you never know what'll happen, and I'd much rather have the memories from the things I was able to do than the regrets of never doing anything. So it's like, yeah, if something like that happened, whatever. But I'll also say that's not something I spend a lot of time thinking about, other than to like motivate me. It's like, hey, you never know what might happen. Do some stuff. I don't really sit around spending too much time thinking about that, because but like I said, even in a normal lifestyle, that happens too.
Yeah.
So like, that's just a life condition that tomorrow you could wake up and the whole world has changed. We saw this in 2020. You know what I mean? You wake up tomorrow, your whole life has changed. So that could happen to anybody,
I think that's a really strong point that I always try to get across on Travel Snacks channel, is that get out and live your life, because there's pockets of times where things could be steady in your life and you'll be like, okay, well, I'll just wait another year or another 2 years. In a day, your life could change. In a week, your life could change. Like, take those pockets of time and get out and do the thing. Because, you don't know when, somebody in your family might be in the hospital. You don't know if you might be in the hospital. You don't know if something's going to happen where you lose money or lose whatever. Like, do it now, because you don't know. And even me being on the road, there's been times where I've had to go back to California because of family issues, family being in the hospital, me being sick and unhealthy, and so there's pockets of times where I just fill it in and I just do it because we're getting older. And at a certain point, your body may betray you and be like, no, we're not doing that, And I've heard even people that move into their 60s and they're like, my body doesn't travel well. Like, I don't even want to take a flight anymore. Even if their dreams have been to go visit Europe or whatever, they're like, I just don't feel like I could actually do it now. And I'm like, whoa, that's a shocker. But, I say do it while you can, because you never know. Reigns of Healing says, Tim, inquiring minds want to know, what's the draw with women's sports? Genuine question.
And I appreciate the question because a lot of people just say negative stuff. So I appreciate you genuinely asking because I don't mind answering. I don't know. Like I never was really like I watched sports a little when I was younger, but like me and my dad loved the World Series, but like I got away from sports and like I low key used to like make fun of sports people. But then I just came across the WNBA and like I liked it. I think maybe part of it is I like watching something that everybody else isn't into. Like I'm kind of a what is it, contrarian. I like doing what no one else is doing. And like I honestly I'd prefer to watch women run up and down the court playing basketball than dudes. Like I don't really people who don't know me may not know this, but like most of my friends are women. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got like two or three guy friends that like, you know what I mean? Most of my friends are women. Like I watch women's sport. Like I rock with women more than I rock with dudes. That's no shade, but like I just rock with women more. And I like the supporting women's sports because it still does get looked down on, and you know people still talk trash about it for no reason other than that they're women. And you know what I mean? I think it's 2023. I think we can get over this whole like gender issue and all this stuff. So like I just prefer watching women. And like once you get started in it, you know, I'm watching the WNBA. Now I watch women's college basketball. You know what I mean? Like once I started down the rabbit hole that is women's sports, there's just like more and more. And I don't know, like I just enjoy it. And I feel like men's sports would be too mainstream. Like, you know, everybody loves the Packers. You know what I mean? Like I like to do stuff that like you're in like a select group when you like the WNBA. You know what I mean? So I think there's that. And without objectifying women, some of them are hot. You know what I mean? So I'd much rather than watch dudes sweaty, they smacking each other on the butt. Like, I just don't. That ain't really my scene. You know what I mean? So,
Sandra says, once you find where you want to live, Allison, you can always sing in your church. That's a good point. I still sing like in my van when I'm driving or in the shower or whatever. There's a couple times where I was singing here, but I don't think you can hear because the rooms are.
Really?
Yes. I was like, that one day that I was like, am I being too loud? And you're like, no. Yeah. I like to sing. I still like to sing, but singing in church, that's also, you know, great too. And then Grant says, I asked Jackie about becoming a rapper and she just said, and he has a bunch of laughing emojis. So she's laughing at him for being a rapper. So I think your dream has died today, Grant, about being a rapper. So I'm sorry. But, you know, we still love you.
Next question. You going to drop the album on the internet?
If I make an album, if I put the effort into making an album, heck yeah.
You gonna drop it on. You gonna be on Spotify.
I'm gonna drop it on the Spotify.
All right. If Allison drops an album, we got to get the streams up.
Stream it.
I didn't know if you was gonna like sell physical copies.
Bro.
Yo.
Because I did put out a CD like back in 2006.
Yeah.
I bought 1,000 copies because that's what people were doing back then. Bro, I think I sold 10 copies. It hurt my soul.
Do you have copies left?
Oh, I'm sure I do somewhere in a box at my parents' house.
Bro.
Snack Pack knows. Some people asked and I sent it to them.
Why are you not slanging the CDs?
I ain't trying to sling those CDs on the road. Carry a box of CDs from 2006.
$10 a pop? $15 shipping?
I just charged $5 because I was like, it'll cover the shipping and I'll probably make $1. I didn't care, but I have 1,000 CDs.
I would pay $15 for a CD.
Okay, you give it to me now, and I'll see what I could do.
Yeah, for 2 years from now, when I've forgotten about it.
Like, I didn't really have any.
I think people would. That'd be a cool memento for the bunch and munchers.
Some people have it already. You're asleep. I don't know.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Well, no, you do.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so Michael says, rumor said most Americans don't have 1,000 in the bank. I've heard this for many years. Maybe this is the first date question. Ooh, I don't think I'd ask somebody how much they have in their bank or if they have $1,000. Because that from a girl, it sounds like gold diggerish.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever ask about it. But that's a fair point. Like, you know, if somebody has a savings, that's an indicator that they're prepared a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I don't think you can ask. So you got $1,000? Because I'm like, what do you want? What do you, yeah.
Is this a thing that I don't know about?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not gonna win again. They're not
South
gonna
Carolina national
Tracy,
champions.
they're not winning this year. No. My beloved Stanford is gonna win the national championship this year.
Rebecca's coming through. Tim, women's college softball has started. Are you into the softball?
I just started watching women's softball. I watched Florida State versus Alabama, and I fell asleep during the game. Not a negative, but I said I'm gonna start watching softball. Like it's getting to the point now. There's so many sports I'm liking. Because this flag football, which the season's over. But I just got into like women's softball. So
nice.
I need to pick a team. I was kind of feeling Alabama, oddly enough. So I'm dialed in. We got to get the women's college basketball finished off, but then the WNBA starts. So it's and Athletics Unlimited is actually playing right now. You know what I mean? So it's a lot. It's a lot. Hashtag blessed.
Nice.
Jamonde, what's up, man? So what's my skin regimen? I don't have one. I laugh a lot. You know, the lighting helps. The lighting helps with it makes the skin look better than it might be. I think.
Robert says, just joining in, I would much rather be alone than be with vampires that suck you dry. I totally agree with that. Like there are energy vampires that they will come into your life and like either be super complaining and negative or just super self-focused or too like irresponsible or out of control or just the energy is just too much.
Yeah.
So I would agree in that sense, but I think it shouldn't be to the point where you give up on trying to meet people that aren't vampires. I think you should just take those people and be like, okay, that person was not for me, and move on.
Yeah.
So, but I agree. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are very energy sucky.
I think that goes back to we live in a day and age, and social media plays a role in this, where it becomes very. I always say like we live in like the most self-centered age because like it is no other time where people taking pictures of themselves on a daily basis and posting them. You know what I mean? And then like other people were liking them. Like it's a different dynamic now.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I feel like, and maybe because we're spending all our time doing stuff on social media, we've never been more like unselfish as far as the things we really need to do. Mm-hmm. We might do some stuff because we think it's going to make us look better. Right. But like as far as like a lot of the self-work, I just feel like a lot of that doesn't go on. But on the flip side, we're very self-centered and it's me.
Yeah.
And I think some people don't know how to kind of maybe turn that off when they're around other people. So you have a situation where 4 people are out to lunch and all 4 of them are trying to be me. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you're the one person who isn't, it's like, this person's all my energy. Like what
I don't know about you, but when I am with whether it's like 4 or 5 or 6 people, like at a table, like eating brunch or something. And it's that type of like, you can see it. I don't know if everyone else can see it, but I usually see that like people aren't listening to each other. They're just like talking at each other. Mm-hmm. I retreat. I start to get quiet. I go inward and I just sit there and look at them and I'm just like, y'all aren't even listening to each other. I don't even want to be part of this because I won't even be able to compete with that. And I don't want to. And that's why I don't like to be around groups because people don't listen. They're just, oh, I did this. Oh, I did that. Oh, it's like, y'all don't even know anything about each other because you're not listening. There's no listening going on. And it's kind of like a sad thing to see,
And then, if you say something, no one cares.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, why am I even...
why are you being so, like, we're just talking. It's like, Also, welcome, Ellie Wife. Welcome. Just started watching and following this week. I'm new. Welcome to the Snack Pack. Glad to have you.
Personal accounts of energy vampires in your past? I don't know if I know any personal example right offhand of like this happened. Or I feel like for me, they don't get very far with me. You know what I mean? So like I don't really have any memorable examples, I feel like, because I'm very like, nah. Quick to just be like, this ain't gonna be nothing. Like You know, like
I have in my past, but not like, I think, you know, at a younger age, it's like you're just hanging out and stuff. But now at this age, I'm with you. It's like, I think you can know pretty quickly if somebody's going to be that type of person that overtalks you, interrupts you, doesn't listen to you, is looking at their phone. That's all stuff that I would know that I don't want to be around. And so I don't think that friendship would go very long. I think it would just fizzle out. And yeah.
real quick, I'd be like, I might give it twice, and then be like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I'm really at the stage these days where like, and this is not trying to make it seem like I'm anything special. I think we all should be like this. It's almost like the person has to convince me of why I should keep hanging out.
Yeah.
And I fully expect that from someone I'm hanging out with to be like, Tim needs to convince me that we're gonna be friends.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like I feel like, yeah, when I was younger, oh, you meet somebody, let's be friends. Now it's a lot more like, if I don't get a clear indication, that feeling of like, oh, it's worthy of my time, this relationship, this friendship, I don't even, there's not like, I don't need nothing from nobody. You know what I mean? I got good friends.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, would I like it more? Sure. But like, if it's anything fringe or nah, I'm like, I'm good.
Ooh, that's a good point. Like, I think your good friends set the bar for new friends.
Yeah.
Because, like, now that, you know, I have certain people that, like I said earlier, that get me, respect me, love me for really who I am. Like, I could be my full self, my 100% self, and I know they're not going to leave or back away. It's like, I don't want to be with anyone, like be around anyone else that wouldn't accept me. So it would set a standard for me of any new friendships, not like right up front, because, you know, it takes time to build that and nurture that. But you could kind of tell up front if a person's going to like really get you, or if they're going to use stuff against you later. I mean, sometimes you don't know and you can get stabbed in the back. But I think, you know, if you listen and to each other, you'll get the idea of like, this person's got my back and I can be okay with that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm big on like someone's aura, their energy or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like you can pick up on like, this is a decent person.
Yeah.
Like, it did not take long when we met at the park.
No.
To be like, okay.
We're friends.
Yeah, we're friends. You know what I mean?
We're friends now. We're best friends.
We're best friends out.
Best friends out.
Yeah. So these, like, I think, you know, maybe that's age too, but
Yeah.
it doesn't take long to be like, all right, you know what I mean? Got it. You know?
Yeah.
You know, and that's not to say that, yeah, someone could slip through the cracks every now, but like, you're not fielding as many calls, you know, when you're, as you get older. It's like every now and then I might try to meet someone new, and if it don't seem genuine, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
You know, so you're a lot less likely to get burned, I feel like, or come across like the energy vampire, because you're like, as soon as you feel that drain, you're like, nah. Whereas, you know, I feel like when I was younger, part of that was because I was always partying, always hanging out. I wanted people to party, hang out with, do stuff with. All I'm trying to do these days is, you know, grab a coffee. You know what I mean? So like, I don't need anything from anyone. So I'm way less likely to overlook the red flags.
Yeah, I think it's funny because you said this, I forget when you said it, but you were saying like there's certain people where you like hanging out with them, but you were like kind of like jazzed to like be like, okay, cool, see you later. And then you're like, oh, I just want to go home and like not talk. I think it's like those people are fine as acquaintances, but there's certain people that you know that when you go out with them, you might have a good time, but you're not going to want to go out with them again the next night or the next night, just as friends, because it's like that person drains me. Like, they're high energy. They're like, blah, 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 you know, like there's no downtime for you to just sit and not have to talk. Those are cool people to be around, but not all the time. I don't like that.
Yeah. And I realize some of my fringe friends, I'm probably one of their fringe friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, it's cool to hang out with Tim once a year. I can't hang out with him a lot. You know what I mean? Like, we have different, you know what I mean? So it's not like a diss, but it's just like, yeah, like some people, you just don't rock like that. It's like, all right, that was my once this 2 years hang out with so and so back from high school, and they the same. Oh, cool, that's done. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Here's the interesting question. Do you both have regrets being away from aging parents, traveling, and at times I feel like I should be at home more? That was kind of a thing, like a shift, but I think that's a relevant question. I'll say for me, it's a little different because one of my parents, we don't really talk like that. So even if I wanted to be around her more, I couldn't. And my dad is very much like me. So like we don't do need to see you on a regular basis. Like, so, I saw him recently for the first time in like a decade. And I'm not going to let it go that long again, but there was no issue. Like we was like, oh, cool. Good to see you. Hung out, had lunch for about an hour and a half. See ya. I'll probably see him again a year or so from now. Same deal. So like, I just don't come from a family where, in my case, there's a lot of be around my parents. Like we're just not, me and my dad just aren't like that. He's very, loner, kind of does his own thing. I'm the same. So for me, I don't feel any regret now.
I don't know if the word is regret for me, but it's definitely hesitation on my part of, because I am actively like looking for a place to call like my base where, there's times where I want to get off the road for like a month or two at a time. And I like, since being on the East Coast, I really have been drawn to the East Coast, like Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. I've never lived on the East Coast. And when I come here, I feel happy. Like I feel this by the beach, it's more green. People are super nice. And I feel less of a stress than I do in California. But my parents are in California.
Okay.
So I feel a bit of guilt of like wanting to choose this for myself. And my two sons, they're grown-ups, so they have a life of their own, but they're also, one's in Texas and one's in Nevada. So everyone's kind of over on that side. And I feel selfish. And that's like one reason that's really pulling me to not make the decision to like plant some roots over on this side. And so I'm having an internal struggle, like what's the right thing to do, which I'm praying about. But it's like, is it the right thing to do to just stay in an area that that you really don't love anymore, just so you could be around family? Or is it like live somewhere and then you still visit those people? And I think this, if we were in an old time situation, I think people would say stick by your family. But, in this day, like everyone's spread out already. Like my family's already spread out. So yeah, I do have an internal battle currently going on. So it's a good question. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's a good question. I was going to say real quick, and this is just because we're friends.
Yeah.
Seems like everybody else is living where they want to live.
Yeah, they are.
So why can't you? That's all. That's all. That's all I'm throwing up.
Problem solved. No,
yeah, done. See, no, I'm joking.
What do you guys think? Like, what? I'd be curious to see what people think.
Yeah.
Me
too.
What do you guys think? Do you think that it's like if everyone in your life has chosen where they want to live? Like even my sister lives in Arizona. She didn't like. I'm not saying it mean. I'm saying like she lived in California near my parents, and then she moved to Arizona, so she's further away from my parents. She made that choice, which is not a bad choice, but. What do you guys think? Do you think it's better to stick closer to your family or like live where you want to live and then adapt?
Good question. I'm curious to see. While we're answering this, I got to shout out to Sonia. Good to see you, Sonia.
Woo!
Thank you so much, Super Chat Squad. That is love.
All right.
There are your hearts. Said, are either of you okay with the possibility of not finding the right person? And if so, what would that look like for you? I've come to grips with the fact that it's a possibility. It may not happen. I don't see why it wouldn't. The universe is abundant. But if it doesn't happen, I like to focus on the love I already have in my life. Okay, if I don't get romantic love, like that's one of the reasons like I don't think a lot and get all bummed out about not dating, because I'm like, I've been blessed with so much friendship and love. Like honestly, I got some of the best friends in the world. Like I like to say the best friends in the world, and just the love I get from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like how could I just totally dismiss all that and be like, but I don't have romantic love. You know what I mean? So like, I'm already blessed. So like that's what it would look like. It would just be me continuing to live my life, do what I love with people I love. And then I would just realize in this lifetime, it wasn't meant for me to have love of that nature. There's a part of me, I'll be honest, that thinks that some of the things I did in my past might have pushed the right person away. And so maybe it showed up and I was too drunk. You never know. So that's the thing I think about too. I mean, there's like one specific person I know that it really could have been something, and I was not in the right mind frame for many of the years we were friends to see. And now it's not a possibility of her being in my life again. So like, I think on things like that too. So it's like, if I never find the right one, I just will continue living the amazing life I'm living now without just having that box checked. But I feel like I've got 20, 30 other boxes checked, or I'm working on checking. So like that just be icing on the cake. Like I feel like in this society, we're really brought up to believe that's the be all end all is finding someone. But I'm like, there's so many other things I can do and can enjoy. Yeah, if I don't get to check that box, it's still a great life.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think it's one part acceptance and one part trusting God. Like, I have come to an acceptance that it may not be in the path for me to have another partner. I've been married twice, so I have to be grateful for that option, because some people never have that opportunity. And there was not them, but there was another person I dated for a while that, looking back now, I thought, oh, I could probably find somebody like a little bit better, but was a great, awesome partner. And now I'm like, oh, that was that's a regret of mine, that I should have tried harder or been a better partner for that person. But also that person's with somebody now, so I mean, I'm not going to interject in their life. You know what I mean? So I think I have to be grateful for what I've already had. And if God sees fit for me to have somebody, I can't miss it. Whoever God has for me is for me. And if there's nobody for me, then I accept that. And along your lines is like, embrace what I do have. There's no need to, kind of be depressed about what I don't have, because I've been blessed with so many. I mean, like even the snack pack, even this channel, even like friends, there's no way that I should be complaining.
Yeah.
So if I get a partner, which is my heart's desire, I'd be so happy. But I'm also going to embrace that I don't, and that's okay too. So just keep it going. I think this is funny. Robert says, people are like alcohol. They're okay in small amounts, but after too much, it's time to call an Uber and go home.
Facts. Carol has an answer to your earlier question. Says you're not an only child, Allison, so live where you want to live and then go visit when you can. In between visit, make lots of phone calls to keep in touch.
All right. Amen, Carol. Thank you. Also, Ellie Wife says, I don't know if it's Lee Wife or Ellie Wife, but I'm from South Georgia. Come on home, girl. I love it. All right. Yes. Here we go. I already have friends building up in Georgia. Ricky says family and friends for me. And then Monana says, pray for sure. God has the place he wants you to be. Maybe with family, maybe not. Where God wants you is the key. And I keep praying about it, but I haven't received an answer yet. So I don't make a move until I get, like, I always pray for abundant clarity. Like, make it abundantly clear where you want me, God. And I haven't received that full answer yet. So I don't want to like just make a snap decision about where to go yet. So I might feel a little lost right now, just floating out there in the world in my van. But, in the meantime, I'm just checking out different areas, and I think it'll become clear. But yeah, I think that's a good point.
And maybe you haven't checked out the area yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You might stumble somewhere and it'd be like, oh yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here, So I retired 2019, said I relocated and left family and friends behind. It was an adjustment, but I have no regrets. I live life on my own terms while still loving my family.
Okay. Muse says, I say stay close to family that loves you. Life is too short. Oh, that's a good point too. Superbike Racer, if your family is nice, stay close. Otherwise, move away. But then Tracy says, I think it's totally okay to live where you want to live. I've encouraged all 4 of my grown children to do just that, and they have. That's a really good point. Because my boys, if they were in the same position as I am, I would tell them, live your life. If you need to move internationally, if you like whatever you want to do, embrace the best life that you can. Like fly little birdies, like live your life. And I'm sure that my parents feel the same way, but I've never really thought about it like that. It's like, I'm the one like overthinking it. And like, even when I talk to my mom and I tell her, oh, I love South Carolina, she's like, oh, that sounds so great. She's never like, oh, you hate us, come back home, Yeah. I think it's mostly me because, as family gets older, my parents are getting older. It's like, I don't want to miss the time with them. But also at the same time, it's like, I want to embrace the life that I'm living as well.
Gary Vee always says something where, and this is kind of different, but this is when he's always talking like kids, and he says sometimes the reason you have to do what you want to do in life, even if your parents don't agree, is so for them. Because if you end up following with their advice and it's not what you want to do, you'll end up resenting them. And then your relationship will be, you know what I mean? It'll ruin your relationship in the future. He's like, so to protect the relationship, you got to go do what you want to do. And then there's none of that. And I always thought that was cool. It's like sometimes, you got to do, and this is kind of different, like I said. But I've always thought about that. Like sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and make sure there's there's not low key like, oh, I had to be here because my parents. You know what I mean? Like, it's like it's real. That's real. You do what you want to do in life. It's real, and then no one has to worry about nothing.
I think the other thing is like, if let's just say that I decided I'm moving Georgia, wherever. I think it's up to me personally to. My parents are older. They're not going to be able to like travel across the U.S. It's up to me to like, to my comfort level, be like, I'm going to go visit once every 2 months or whatever. Like, make sure that I go do that so I don't miss out on time with them. Because it's not up to them. They didn't make the move. I made the move away from them. So I think it would be up to me to like make sure I feel comfortable with the amount of time I'm spending with them if I decided to go that direction. Grant says, I moved from Montreal to Edmonton when I was 18, leaving the majority of my family behind. That was 40 years ago. It's always great to go home to visit. Oh, I love that.
Sonia said, that's why there's FaceTime. A lot of good answers coming in. Sorry, I can't read them all, but a lot of good answers. This was a good thing.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, the vulnerability, putting that out
you know
there.
what? This is our family right here.
Yeah.
Ricky says, Charles Nax, can you win an old flame back? I don't think so. I think that ship has passed because he's with somebody.
I was gonna say, when you said it's like he's in a relationship, so I'm not gonna interject myself. I was gonna be like, but if you wanted him back, though,
I mean,
you could
listen.
If you wanted him
if
back,
he knew, I think he'd be like, "It's been fun, girl, but it's travel snacks." You know what I'm saying?
It's tea snacks.
I don't think he even knows that I feel like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think he.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think he knows that I have the regrets.
Oh,
he doesn't.
You smooth dipped on him, like.
No, like we broke up, and then like we were still in touch, and then he got with this girl, and then I'm like telling my whole business on the internet.
He's probably watching right now. But go ahead.
Great, and then at some point, she saw some text, not bad, but just like she saw that we had kept in touch, and he's like, I think she, thinks it's a little too much, and I'm going to have to cut off the conversations. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, if you guys ever break up, reach out again, not romantically, but like as friends, because we were close. Yeah. Like we'd go to church together and pray together and stuff like that. And then like he went on, and like, there'd been times where I'd stalk his Facebook and I'd be like, dang, he's still with that girl. And then over time I was like, dang, she got a good one, bro. Like I set her up for a good one, bro.
You did.
I did my part.
That might have been the part
and that's fine with me,
you know,
and that's okay. Like to me, if he's happy, that makes me happy. And, and if it's meant to be, I always say it'll be. So clearly it's not, and it's okay. And if one day our paths cross and it's supposed to be, it will. So I don't know about winning it back, but for now it's okay.
I told you with me, like anytime I break up with someone, they get married or get like a long-term for the rest of their life relationship. Like if
you want to get married, date Tim, break up, and then you'll meet life.
Totally. Either they get married or they meet someone and they're together for like 5-10 years. Like it's crazy. Like what it is I think once they date me, they realize what a good man is. And then
I mean, okay.
And then they go find
that's facts. You are a good man.
That's what thank you. We still learning. We still growing. But
Sandra says, I'm struggling with the same way, Allison, with where to have a home base. Oh, Sandra, I totally feel you on that. I feel you. Let's see.
The financial benefits of relocating from California to South Carolina are tremendous.
I mean, honestly.
That's what Retired 2019 said.
Like I just told my mom, I think a couple of days ago, I was talking to her about my whole like debacle of like where I should plant my roots a little bit. And I just told her like, I've lost my loving feeling towards California. It's been a minute since I was proud to be a Californian, just for various reasons that we're not going to go into because of politics, but just the cost of living in California is atrocious. Like it's just literally throwing your money out to the wind. So yeah, even coming over to the East Coast, like even financially, would be a better move. So yeah, there's lots of different reasons why I'm kind of ready to make moves.
Carla said, "Really, Tim? I'm DMing you." Oh, this is gonna work out good for me. Short term.
Tom says, "Guess I'm not the only one who feels a little lost." No, definitely not. You know, there's times where I'm like, "Oh, I'm just floating around. I don't know what I'm doing."
I made a video it was probably the end of 2021, and the title was like, "I don't know what I'm doing out here, but like I'm enjoying it." Like I was. That was when I left Montana and I went to Arizona for my good friend Abby's wedding. And I was like, well, I for some reason, Arizona kept coming to my head. I was like, well, maybe I'll get a place here. I was looking for apartments there. That didn't go through. I didn't know what was going on. Like I literally was just like in my car traveling around, no clue what was going on. Like I was like, I feel so lost right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, well, I'm just gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, this
What
is
else can you do?
if this is lost, well then, you know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm seeing new places, I'm hiking, like seeing, you know, like I'm like, if this is lost, great, you know? So yeah, I feel like you were saying earlier, sometimes the solution hasn't been presented to you yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of like, sometimes the test is continuing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, all you can do is continue. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
even if you like just let it get you down, you still have to continue. So that's why I'm like, all right, Tim, like you don't have to know it all. And then like things worked out. Like I ended up going to the Grand Canyon tour eventually. Actually, I came here for a while, then went to the Grand Canyon to work, and then, you know, linked with my roommate and got the place in Denver. So it took a few months, but like it all worked out. But yeah, I just felt so lost for a while, but yeah, it happened.
Khalil's Racing comes in with a $2. Let's give a shout. Let's see. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. It's a blessing. I appreciate it. Let's see. Mo Nana says, I would totally do that, Tim, so I could then marry again. Say what? Anyway, you're too young for me.
I'm telling you, ladies, I don't know what it is.
There's going to be a line out the door. There'll be like, can you date me for a month? You're 12. You're going to have to break it down on a spreadsheet. Like, okay, I got this girl.
There's a minimum of like 3 months dating period. It don't work if we just date for like.
Oh, okay.
Well, so, yeah, it's like a minimum of 3 months.
Okay, so you could only really date 4 girls a year. You could do like a lottery system.
I could date like 3 at a time. But for 3, I'm joking. That's a joke. That's a joke. That is a joke. Yeah, we can do a lottery. We can do a lottery. What is it? What do they do? A raffle? Where they do like a date?
You know, like an auction.
Yeah, auction. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay, an auction.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold an auction for Tim's dating service.
When I turn the memberships on, that'll be level 5. Is you get a
ticket to the raffle. You're gonna have no men in your memberships. I can tell you that. Well, I mean, actually, never mind.
I mean, Ken just said I was looking good. I'm joking, Ken. I know you're a straight male, but you did say I was looking good. But I mean, I get some interesting DMs sometimes.
Ellie's wife is selling me on the Georgia. Georgia's a good location. Go north and you have the mountains. Go east or south, you have beach. Stay in Georgia and you have Georgia Bulldogs. Go Dogs! I do love Georgia. I'm actually going there next. Probably a couple weeks from now.
I agree with everything.
I'm going to Georgia. It's one of my favorite places.
Everything except the Go Bulldogs.
That's wrong.
Oh, Ben P. Gray said, living in the Subaru, would like to date if it would have to be a fellow Nomad or car van dweller, so you can understand each other. Okay. And I think I would imagine there's a lot of van dwellers, car dwellers, same thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I used to kind of think that way too when I was first living in vehicle life. But I've broadened my horizons to maybe people that are retired, because if somebody retired, they don't have to live in a vehicle, but they have more opportunity to travel, or somebody that works remotely.
Okay.
Because if you just like narrow it to just vehicle dwellers, you know, you might miss out on somebody that also has an adventurous spirit but doesn't live in a vehicle.
Oh, okay.
But I mean,
Okay.
I'm not, anyone could do whatever they want, but I kind of started out with that thought too. Like it's going to have to be, a nomad, but you can branch out a little bit.
But basically someone with the freedom to.
With the freedom, but also the spirit of being a little wanting to get out more. Because I don't know that I would want to date someone that's like a homebody, like never wants to go anywhere. I think that would possibly drive me crazy. Just because it's like, I don't want to, I'm a homebody in terms of like wanting to relax in a place, but not in like the house just all day, every day. Like I don't like that feeling.
Gotcha.
Ooh, IC says, float until it is so clear that you will just do it. I went through this for 2 years and finally I visited the place I wanted. And in 2 weeks I was moved. I call my family and visit a lot, but I'm happy. I love that. That's true. Like, I think that's what I'm going to do is just like wait until it like is super clear. Like, I love this place. I'm moving here.
You're going to drive through Kansas one day and be like, this
I
is
don't
it.
think it's going to be Kansas.
This is
I
it.
don't think it's going to be.
Need
But you
knuckle
never know.
Kansas. You're going to be like, this is it.
I don't know.
This is where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Sonia said, so Tim is from the South and likes the West, and Allison is from the West and likes the South. Interesting.
That's interesting.
I'm out West now. Not all the way west like California, but yeah, Colorado, Montana, them state. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Well, Ken said Kansas City ain't bad. First time.
I've never been to Kansas, so I shouldn't even talk.
I feel like I've been through it on the bus.
Poor Gilberto says, poor Kansas.
Well, yeah,
Kansas gets a bad name.
It does. It does.
That's
Because
sad.
nobody knows anything about it.
No one ever talks about Kansas, so you never really know anything about it.
Yeah.
You know where I have been is where people don't talk about is Nebraska. And
Yeah.
it was beautiful.
Mm.
I actually liked it. There's a lot of farmlands. It was really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked it. I don't think I'd live there, but I
I'm about to say, is that on your list? Is that an option?
It's not on my list to live because they get snow and stuff. But I don't really want to live somewhere that's like a snowy region.
Okay.
It's just not. It's not for me.
Respect that.
Monana says, "Hey, the men should love you, Tim. You're setting them up for their forever wife." Okay.
I don't know if I can if they can be a part of the raffle and the auction, just because of personal preference. But we can hang out.
Mac Pride says, Allison, would living in a van with your significant other be too cramped or cause problems for the relationship? In my van, it's going to be a no. my van is too small. And actually, Tim can attest to this, not because of the reasons that some of you might be thinking, but because today, and Rebecca, if you're still on here, Rebecca's been asking me, have you flipped your mattress yet? And today we went to my van. I asked Tim for his help because I was like, I don't think I could do this by myself. So I've been having back problems. So I decided my foam mattress is like soft, medium foam, and then like firmer foam. So we had to take the whole mattress out, take the covers off of it, flip it over, put it back in the van. My van is for one person.
Yeah.
The bed is like almost a twin at this point. So that's going to be a no for me. But I think it'd be great if it was like an RV, I would definitely live.
I was going to ask you that. Would you do RV?
Yeah, I would for sure do an RV with my partner because RVs can have separate rooms. Like,
oh, you trying to get an expensive RV? Okay.
Yeah. Like my sister and her husband, they have a nice RV, and it's like there's like a living room, and they got their walk-in bathroom, and the back has their bedroom. It's like separate, and it's like a little like tiny trailer, like a mobile home. I would totally do that with a partner, or I would do 2 vans.
Okay.
Each of us have a van, but only for a short time. Because like if I'm like with somebody, I don't want to be like, too separate.
Yeah.
I'm a very like lovey-dovey person. Like I want to be with my partner.
Whose van tonight?
Yeah, like
yeah.
So no, like it would be too cramped if it's a van for me, I think. Because I think you're gonna get on each other's nerves.
Yeah, like where would you be?
And also if you have to poop.
Oh yeah.
Like even if you'd be like, can you step out of the van? I gotta poop. And then they come in and it's like smells gross.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to smell. No, I don't want to do that. So it's no.
So RV, okay.
RV be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I was gonna ask you that. Like, would you do RV?
I
But it has to be an expensive RV, is what I heard. He has to have a good credit score, so
Mhm.
y'all can go in together on the expensive RV. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's what I'm hearing.
You would like Kansas if you like Nebraska. Okay. All right. A little uptick for the Kansas. I heard Ricky says, I heard RVs don't last long. You have to take good care of them and protect them from the weather. Yeah, I've heard that too. So I think it just depends though, like the type of RV that you have, and you have to winterize it. And again, it's like, like they say, more money, more problems, or like bigger things, more problems.
Yeah.
It's like even going from a car to a van, the problems escalated real quick because you have more things that you got to like take care of and look into. So an RV, it's like having a home. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Kansas started getting a lot of love.
I'm gonna have to check out Kansas.
Maybe that's a sign.
Also, I'm gonna probably make a video about this, but since we're talking, Kansas is one of the last frontiers if you want free land. There is free land in Kansas, but there's requirements. I don't know them all, but one of the requirements is that once you get the land for free, you have a certain time frame to build a house, and it has to be like 1,200 square feet or something like that.
Okay.
So there's certain things you got to do once you get that land, but the land is free.
How much land?
They have it parceled out, so it's probably like less. It's probably like quarter acre.
Acre?
Maybe half acre. I don't know.
I don't even get an acre.
There's different little small towns that are offering this.
Oh, so it's different, probably different.
Yeah, and
That's interesting though.
There's free land in Iowa, and
is there income requirements?
I don't know.
I mean, if they're getting, well, I guess they may want to know if you can afford to build a house.
Yeah.
So you might be like, yeah, I'll build a house, and you get it, and then
They're like,
yeah.
But yeah, you can't yeah, and they have had it up for a while and have had a hard time giving the land away for free.
Because people don't have the money to buy the house, to build the house.
Yeah, and plus because
and
it's these are small towns, so not everybody wants to live in a small town.
And I'm assuming you have to have an outside income.
Mm-hmm.
And then too, if you factor in, if you have an outside income, it's probably internet.
Yeah. And
the Wi-Fi.
Oh man.
In small town Kansas is probably HughesNet, and that's So I can see where there's difficult. Did you know? Is it Italy with the $1 houses?
Yeah.
Which is kind of a similar thing that like they got all these. Which is actually, I watched the thing on it. It's so sad because all these towns, all the young people are moving away.
Yeah. So
they have all these like literally houses that like nobody owns, or like the people die and it just sits there. And so yeah, they were genuinely like selling €1.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most of them you got to get in there and fix up. So it's not like I'm gonna go to Italy and have this fabulous home for €1. Yeah. It's like you got to put some money into it. But I think it's kind of cool. But like, I feel like they could do the same with that. Just give them away with the stipulation you got to fix it up, and they probably still would have trouble getting people in all of them because it's just not. It's these little bitty Italian towns that like there's really nothing.
Yeah.
And everybody's gone. So
it sounds romantic, but then you get there and you're just like, oh, now I'm here and there's nobody.
There's nothing to do. Yeah, the same reason people left. Now I'm. So yeah. Like if I was a millionaire, get you one, fix it up. You got a little Italian villa for
Yeah.
But like, yeah, just a regular person is kind of that's weird that the world is kind of changing like that to where like, which there was one town that was bringing a lot of immigrants, and that was to giving them the houses, let them work on them. That was working, but I'm like, that is interesting that like towns are dying.
Yeah.
All over the world, like small towns are dying. Like
yeah, that's sad. Rebecca says, "Yay, mattress flipped." I thought about Rebecca when we were flipping that mattress because she's asked me a few times, and she said she lived in Kansas had lived in Kansas for 13 years,
and then left. Couldn't do it no more. No,
yeah, but 13 years that's a good time frame in Kansas.
That is, it's like dog years. 13 years in Kansas years is like 50 years everywhere else. No,
I heard parts of Kansas are really beautiful though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Like, what do they have?
I think farms.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Wasn't the Wizard of Oz? Dorothy was from Kansas.
They were until they left, and then she's like,
"We're not in Kansas anymore."
And then they was like, "Great, let's stay here."
Oh.
No, they didn't. I've never seen it. Mom would not let me watch something with a wizard in it.
No. Oh, yeah, that's true.
No, I've never seen the Wizard of Oz.
Monana, even the Super Bowl champs are in Missouri. What? I want more land than an acre or two. can several people go in together and get a lot of land? Nomads could have a port site in Kansas.
Ooh.
That's a smart idea. I don't know if
They probably wouldn't.
They probably wouldn't.
Because how would you get the house built? They'd be like, y'all ain't going.
That's
Y'all
true.
gonna bicker.
But that's a smart idea. That would be a cool because I said they couldn't. They I think they said only 8 people have taken them up on it, and there was 26 more lots, and I'm thinking that's a smart idea. You could get a little nomad village going.
Oh yeah.
But now that those
then we
8
have
people,
to build houses.
Yeah.
So we're not
Yeah. And now that those 8 people live there, they'd be like, we had to do it. You got to do it too.
They need to just open. Once again, we talked about this before. These small towns need to say they're friendly to vehicle dwellers. Come through.
Yes.
Come through.
Yes.
We got special lots set up for you. We bring business. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Get some caravans coming through.
And Sandra says, I don't like that towns tell you the size of house you have to have. I had this problem after buying a piece of land. That's true. Because what if you wanted a smaller home, or what if you wanted, I guess you could go bigger. I don't think you could go smaller. So yeah, that would suck. What if you don't want that much space? More to take care of.
Yeah, that's what if they lowered some of the requirements, what are they scared of happening?
Right.
What's going to happen?
Maybe they think you're not going to stay there that long if you have a smaller house.
Well, if you come for a year and leave, it's something other than riffraff moving in.
Yeah.
What's the downsides of someone taking the land? Even if they just show up to look at it and buy gas. It's helping.
That's true.
It's helping the economy. Nobody's coming there,
Gilberto says, I think Kansas gets a bad rap because it's in the dead middle America.
Middle of America now is a job.
Rebecca says, I do not miss those winters. See, I wouldn't want to live somewhere that's the winters are miserable. That's too cold for me.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Instead of Colorado right now. But we're heading back.
Yeah.
So.
Also, yeah, Doris has a good point. Tulsa remote is $10,000 for living there for a year and working remotely.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, there's certain places that do that where they'll give you money, but you have to have certain requirements, staying there because they're trying to spark their economy. So they want people to come there and stay, and shop and eat, and, build up their restaurants and stuff like that. But again, for a nomad, that's going to be torture because you're going to be have to stay in one spot.
Yeah, and how do they gauge? What if you're oh, I'm gonna leave for 3 months, come back? They're no.
Yeah,
you got to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's too. I'll figure it out on my own. I don't need you dictating.
Yeah.
What I'm doing with my life.
Yeah. Lori, there are mattress toppers that are gel or combination of gel and fabric. I got one for tent camping. It's awesome. So the reason I flip my mattress is because I think my mattress is too soft and my back, I need firm pressure. So I'm going to start there by just flipping the mattress and putting the firm foam on top. And hopefully that'll be good. So once I get in my van after I check out of here, I'm going to give that a test for a few days. If not, I think what I'm going to end up doing is just throwing the mattress away and getting one of those, I think it's called a bukaton, but it's like a futon. It's like a Japanese futon mattress, and they're a little more firm, and they're supposed to be really good for your posture, for your back, but also comfortable. So I might try that because I think these softer mattresses, as I'm getting older, is too soft. It's not supportive.
So you getting fancy?
I mean,
Japanese mattress? Okay.
We got to take care of our health.
True.
Living in these streets.
True.
So, yeah.
Kansas has lots of tornadoes.
I don't want that.
Tornado Alley. But I mean, these days, everywhere's got a thing.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Grant, come set up shop here. It's only -8 Fahrenheit right now. It's going to be a no. I'll come for a visit, but it's going to be a no for the visiting. I mean, for the living. I can't live in this. No. Oh, RV Grandma Charlotte. I watched a video today where she got a latex mattress for her van. It doesn't go soft like foam, she says. A latex mattress? I've never heard. Latex?
Sounds pricey.
Oh, that's interesting. Monana, middle America feeds the whole country, which is great for us all, but a lot of wheat and corn is a little boring, I guess. That's true.
I'm trying to think of, like, there was a state I was going through on the Greyhound that it was nothing but fields. It was just like, I was just staring out the window because like there's no signal on your phone. So it was just like staring out the window, and it was like cornfield, wheat field. I was like, this is beautiful for the first 5 minutes. And then it was just like,
You're like, okay, I'm good.
I'm like, this is great. Yeah. I was like, interested. But it's just like, that is one of the states that when people are telling me the earth is overpopulated, always I remember, because I'm like, bro, there's literal states where there's nobody for acres and acres and acres and acres. I'm like, the world's not overpopulated. Like, we just all be in one place or the same places. But I'm like, there's whole states where there's like nobody there. Like, there's more wildlife and livestock than people. Yeah. So I always remember that. Like, if I'd never seen that, I probably would say it too. Oh, populated. But like, bro, it's just my opinion on it.
All right. So what's our final word on loneliness? I mean, I don't know how long you want.
Oh no, I'm probably good on wrapping it up. So. I would say I think we are going through a loneliness epidemic. I think it's good to have conversations like these where we can talk about it. And I think, like, sometimes we have to be a little proactive and maybe doing less communicating and interacting on this and more in person. And like, it goes against the norm now. So it falls to us, I think, to sometimes be like, okay, I'm gonna go see that person. I'm gonna go visit that person. I might call them and we actually have a conversation, or, and try to, I don't have all the answers on like how to meet new people, but try to find ways to do that. Like IRL, in real life, I think, interactions are a lot better, and we may have to work a little harder for them now, but I think it's still possible.
I agree with all that you said. I'd say, because we can't control other people, to make yourself available to let people know that you're available for phone calls or meeting, like not meetings, but meetups. And, put yourself out there, be the one that like says, you know what, I know that I may not want to spend like this amount of time with somebody, but I'd be happy to like go to a coffee, or like spend like 1 hour a week on the phone with a friend, or like whatever you feel you can handle, instead of just saying, I'm an introvert, I don't want to be around people, but then being depressed. I think it's up to us to put ourselves out there to say, you know what, instead of sending a text to this person today, I'm going to call them, or I'm going to send a text and say, I'd love to call, like, when's a good time? Because if we don't do that, we're all going to continue to be like depressed. And I don't think even phone calls are enough. I think we're going to have to like really try to push ourselves to like get some in-person time before you start seeing these depression like epidemic going away.
It's the next step.
Yeah, because like it's too much for people, and I think people are like losing hope. So I think we have to be the ones to just be like, hey, like, do you want to go grab a coffee or a smoothie? And I think there's times where a lot of people will say because they're so lonely and they don't want to say it. But I think we should be, a little more proactive.
I'm intrigued by these smoothie hookups. I gotta meet up.
Smoothies are a vibe, bro.
I gotta get down on this. I've been missing out on the whole smoothie tip.
Speaking of smoothie with lemons, Susan just popped in a $19.99 up in this piece. Woo!
Love that segue, by the way.
I mean, listen.
You're professional.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. Flag football will save us all.
Hey, I'm telling you, that flag football, I'm a fan of Team Mexico. They beat America in the. Okay, I'm getting too deep, but yeah, I'm telling you, this flag. Somebody mentioned flag football. I was like, whatever. Then I watched some. I'm like, this is
flag football's nice.
This is good football.
Yeah, both my boys played flag football when they were younger. It was fun to watch, because you're always like thinking they're gonna get the flag, and they get close, and it's like, or they like, you don't even see them grab the little flag, and then it's off on the floor, and you're like, oh, they got it. Like, it's fun. It's fun to watch.
I love some of the Mexican ladies, like when they scored a touchdown, would blow a kiss. I thought it's a whole vibe. They got a whole different vibe. Like, nobody does that in regular football.
That's something I might actually watch. Flag football. That seems fun.
It was pretty. I was like, man, this, because now YouTube serves up all the women's sports to me. Yeah. So like, and then it'll show me like these weird sports, right? There is
Oh no.
there's a sport called cycle ball, I think, and it's like it's a smaller field. It's a really small kind of like, and it's indoors. Say like half of basketball court maybe, and there's kind of like soccer goals on each end, and they're on bicycles.
No, they're not.
Three
Stop it. No,
three
that's
guys,
fake.
3 guys on each team,
What
and
channel
actually
did
2
you
guys.
see this
It's on YouTube. It's like in Europe, and the crowd was packed, and there's 2 guys on each team on bicycles, and they have to get a ball through the goal
What in the world?
with the wheel. I was like, what is this? I'm telling you, Europe, they got some stuff going on. Like, it's called cycle ball, and I was like, this can't be real. And nope, they were on bikes with the front wheel, and they were getting it in the goal. Like, and one guy was just in front of the goal blocking,
Wow.
and I'm like, he's never gonna move. And then he had to move off, and they scored. It was dudes, so I couldn't watch much. But it was like, there's some weird sports out there, man.
People are too lonely.
There's like
That's proof right there. We just proved it.
There's
People are
like
too lonely.
soccer on a ping pong table.
Soccer on a ping
You
pong
play
table.
basically ping pong with a soccer ball. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a lot of weird sports out there. This is a
But
rabbit
listen,
hole.
I'm actually like, I mean, at first I want to like joke about it, but now I want to like be happy about that people are getting out at least to in-person situations. It's fun. Nobody should ever knock anyone trying to have fun. That's what I say. Unless, obviously, it's not hurting other people. But I think if people want to do weird sports, go for it. Like, you're building camaraderie. You know, they probably go out for pizza afterwards, you know, and talk about their little tricycles. Listen, it's fun.
Is that a red flag? If you meet a guy and he's like, oh, my hobby's cycle ball.
Listen, he's probably got to have nice calves, though. Nice legs if you're a tricyclist. And a wheel and arms too.
It's not a tricycle.
What is it?
It's a regular bicycle. I'm sorry.
On 2 wheels?
Yeah.
Oh well, that's activity.
But I mean, it's a little different. But yes, 2-wheel kind of.
You know how good your arms have to be like controlling.
Why do I feel like you're gonna look up cycle ball and be at a tournament next time you go to Europe?
I don't know, man.
Be at the I in the cycle ball.
You might have introduced me to my new husband. You're like, what's your husband do? I'll be like, he's a cyclist. But I don't tell the whole thing, you know.
He's a cyclist. And someone sees him, he's like, y'all, I'm telling you, look it up. It's on YouTube. It's called cycle ball. It'll blow your mind. Not psycho ball. Cycle ball. I'm telling you, rabbit holes.
Back pride. Allison gonna be a cycle ball groupie. Stranger things have happened. It's not gonna be on this live stream tonight, though.
Is that travel snacks after dark?
Yeah, late night snack.
Late night snack. Let me tell you the stranger things.
Oh, all right, awesome. Well, it's been really fun. Thank you for all the best, awesome, fun comments and all the introspective comments. It's been awesome. Thank you for all the love, support, donations, new members, current members, all the snack pack, all of Tim's awesome family. It's been a good time, and
thank you all for tuning in. Big shout out to the thumbs uppers, the lurkers, the usual suspects.
Love it.
The whole community. Thank you all for tuning in. Y'all know it's always love.
Yeah.
And this was always fun hanging out with the tea snacks.
Yeah.
So love each and every one of y'all.
Yeah. If you haven't been told, you are valuable. You bring so much to the world, and I love you if no one's told you. There's so much love, and just keep that in your heart.
Stay blessed.
Always.
See y'all.
Until next time, bye for now. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.
I'm not ending it till you hit end.
Okay, we're going to count to 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
You didn't click it.
I did.